Times appears lost, and some of the things we love have vanished forever. But this time of year, we're reminded of one thing that has endured, the game of baseball. And in this season of seasons, we've learned to love the game again.
Mitchell waiting. Stands 8 feet close together. Morrison is ready. Hits the sign. 2 strikes, ball 1. Here comes the pitch. Strike 4.
Here in New York, the game of baseball makes us reflect on a more simple time. A time when all you needed was the Yankees playing in October, a broom handle, and a ball. The name of this game is stickball, and your neighborhood street was the playing field, with the memory never fading away. Tonight, in these very same streets, the game of baseball will be played for all the world to see. Forever linked with legend, the Yankees again look fate in the eye with powerful pinstriped pride. And a lefty named Wells looks to walk with Gotham's Giants. And for the Bombers, nothing short of a World Series title will do. But the Bombers face a new breed, a hungry bunch who believe. And with the game's most dominant pitcher and the game's greatest active hitter, the Padres take another swing at the ring. Tonight, the curtain rises on the World Series, next on Fox. The E-Trade World Series pregame show is brought to you by E-Trade, the #1 rated place to invest online.
Baseball's crown jewel, Yankee Stadium, glittering in the October night. A gorgeous night for baseball, and Cinderella has arrived at the ball. The San Diego Padres and Tony Gwynn playing in just their second World Series in franchise history. After beating the Astros and the Braves, they're the champions of the National League. But tonight, they have to battle this raucous Yankee Stadium crowd. David Wells and history as well. The Yankees with 23 World Championships tonight make their 35th World Series appearance before a capacity star-studded crowd here in the Bronx as this unbelievable season of unforgettable moments continues here on Fox. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Carrey, and welcome to the E-Trade World Series pregame show and our coverage of the 1998 World Series here on Fox. As always, I'm joined by my partner, Steve Psycho Lyons. It's been an unbelievable 98, and I can't think of a better way to cap it off than the Padres and the Yankees here at Yankee Stadium.
Well, I'll tell you what, everyone figured that the Yankees would be here after winning 114 games. Nobody's given the Padres any chance at all. But if you don't know by now, you'll know that I'm not like anyone else. I really think the Padres have a chance to win this World Championship, and that's the reason. Their pitching staff. This pitching staff is a staff like the Yankees have not seen all year long. Brown, Ashby, and Hitchcock have now become the best pitching staff of the postseason. There's another reason, too. I think when you play in the American League cities, the DH actually helps the Padres. It gets to keep Jimmy Leyritz in the lineup. Greg Vaughn will play left field, and that's an advantage to the Padres. And finally, when nobody gave the Padres a chance to get through the Astros, nobody gave them a chance to get through the Braves, Cinderella's definitely at the ball, baby, and it's nowhere near midnight.
Boy, you are going to be public enemy #1 picking the Padres in this World Series. They're going to have Kevin Brown on the mound. But how about the Yankees? They feel very confident, and well, they should. They've got David Wells on the hill. He's 7-1 lifetime in the postseason. He won 18 games on the year. This guy even boldly predicted on a national radio show that the Yankees would beat the Padres in 5 games. This guy's not afraid of anything, is he?
Yeah, he should be your Game 1 starter. He has a lot of fun on the field and off the field. Look at it. He's a big fan of Metallica. He had that uniform on before the game started. And I'll tell you what, Joe Torre got this guy earlier in the season, kicked him in the butt a little bit and said, I need you to be more dedicated to our team and to yourself. 2 starts later, he throws the perfect game, and he's been dominating ever since.
And you know he's a popular guy when even George Steinbrenner's liking Metallica with David Wells. A strategy session here, too. Bruce Bochy going with a 3-man pitching rotation for the Padres. That means their ace, Kevin Brown, could pitch in games 1, 4, and 7. The Yankees are going with a 4-man rotation. That means they wouldn't have Wells conceivably for a Game 7 if it went that far.
Well, it's a huge key because I think Brown is the best pitcher in this series right now. He's going to go 3 times. I think the Yankees feel they have a deeper staff, not necessarily a better staff. The Padres will go with 3 guys.
Something else the Yankees have is World Series experience. As we told you, they've played in 35 of them now, and of course they won the World Series in 1996, beating the Braves in 6 games. And Joe Torre, the fine Yankee manager, says that experience is something this year's team will be counting on heavily.
I mean, for me, going in after being there one time, it's a little more relaxing, even though when you get in that dugout, that mouse is going to run around that wheel in your stomach all the time. But Darryl Strawberry, I mean, he's our inspiration this year. We miss him. We miss having him here. He's out of the hospital. We're pleased about that. The prognosis is wonderful, and the players love talking to him and feeling his presence.
Yes, indeed, the Yankees and their fans and baseball fans everywhere hoping that Darryl Strawberry will get well soon. We understand Darryl is watching the game tonight on Fox. And Darryl, for all of us on Fox and on behalf of baseball fans everywhere, good luck, speedy recovery. We can't wait to see you once again wearing those Yankee pinstripes. David Wells is ready. This raucous crowd in the house that Ruth built is ready too. And coming up on the E-Trade pregame show, we'll introduce you to this San Diego Padre ball club and take a walk through Monument Park with singles hitter deluxe Tony Gwynn of the Padres when our pregame show continues here on Fox.
Welcome back to the E-Trade World Series pregame show.
It's a cool, breezy night for baseball, but that won't bother Ken Caminiti. He plays in the World Series for the first time, this time with the San Diego Padres, as Game 1 of the '98 Fall Classic is just moments away. Hi again. Welcome back to our E-Trade World Series pregame show. I'm Chip Carey, joined by Steve Lyons. It's hard to believe that a San Diego team that won 98 games in the regular season is an underdog, but the way they played in the National League playoffs, they are shedding that label very quickly. But still, for even the most knowledgeable of baseball fans, the question lingers. Who are these guys?
You're beginning to get on my nerves. Who are those guys?
It's like going into the NCAA tournament and you're the #1 seed as the Yankees, and you're the 48th team or 64th team in the tournament. You know, nobody gives you a chance. Who are these guys? You know, yes, we're like the McNeese State or, you know, somebody, Appalachian State, somebody like that.
They're feisty. They're feisty. They come home dirty. I mean, you know, when they go out and play baseball, they're all over the place, very unpredictable. And I'm a little partial to it. There's a catcher as a manager, you know. They're the smartest people in the world. So I think it's going to be a great series.
Steve, I don't know if Joe Torre was talking about the Padres or about you. That was a pretty appropriate comment, I thought.
You know, I've been known to get dirty a time or two. You know, one of the guys on this ball club that they definitely do know is Tony Gwynn. 14 years since his last appearance in the World Series. We got a chance to catch up with Tony in Monument Park and share a special moment.
Now, Tony, a lot of people don't realize with your entire career, you've never been to Yankee Stadium. What's this feel like?
This is awesome. It really is. It's a big thrill for me because I consider myself somewhat of a historian. When you walk in here and you turn the corner and the first name you see is George Herman Babe Ruth, I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. This place, it kind of reminds me of the Hall of Fame. You know, right now, I'm just going to enjoy the moment. You know, today is just a great day to be at Yankee Stadium.
You took a lot of heat staying in San Diego. People said maybe he really doesn't want to win. He just wants to be comfortable. Yeah. You laughing right now inside, say, look, we're winning, we're here. Look what we did.
Yeah, you're happy. And you feel gratified that you were able to hang in there, you know. I mean, I always knew San Diego was a place I really wanted to play. And it makes it all worthwhile. It makes the wait worthwhile. All the things you had to go through, all those dog days where you thought, man, we ain't never getting back. And, you know, all of that stuff makes it well worth it when you have an opportunity to come here and be in the big show. Because this is definitely the big show.
How nervous will you be inside back on this big stage?
I'll be nervous. There's no question. You know, we talk about being calm. We talk about, you know, focusing and executing. Hey, when Bob Shepard, is that the announcer's name? When he announces my name and I run out on the line for introductions in Game 1, man, I'll be shaking. You know, I know that.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium for Game 1 of the World Series.
One of the best. The fact that Tony Gwynn got to go out there in Monument Park first time ever with his son. Took him with him, and it was a great moment for both of them.
Well, Psycho, he may be shaking too because this crowd is ready to go for Game 1 of the World Series. We know who the stars are on the Yankee and Padre teams, but as we've seen so many times in postseason play, this is underdog time. Who do you look to be the unsung hero in the World Series this year?
Well, we know it's the World Series because when you put the logos like that on these hats, anybody can be a hero on this ball club. You expect the Cam Caminitis, the Bernie Williams to go out there and do their job. But look for the other guys to come up big in this series. Guys like Jorge Posada for the Yankees, guys like Gogo Gomez, the shortstop for the Padres, maybe a Wally Joyner, a guy that shows a little of experience, because the other team is going to force those guys to beat them. They're not going to let the big guys do it.
Well, David Wells and Kevin Brown take center stage. Wells 7-1 in postseason. Kevin Brown for the Padres, 12-3 lifetime against New York. Of course, he played with the Orioles and the Rangers in the American League. You know that man is up for the challenge. The crowd is ready. We are ready. When we come back, the legendary Bob Shepard will introduce the players before Game 1 of the '98 World Series after this very important timeout here on Fox. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. A moment of reflection for Joe DiMaggio, Yankee legend who's battling pneumonia. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Yankee Clipper, and we hope to see him sometime along the way as the World Series continues. Now it's time for the introductions of the competitors for the 1998 World Series. Let's send it up to the legendary voice of the New York Yankees, Mr. Bob Shepard.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention now to the infield as we welcome the 1998 National League champion San Diego Padres. Ladies and gentlemen, now the starting lineup. First, the manager, number 15, Bruce Bochy. Leading off, the second baseman, number 4, Silvio Vegas, number 4. Batting second, the right fielder, number 19, Tony Gwynn. Batting third, the left fielder, number 23, Greg Vaughn. Batting fourth, the third baseman, number 21, Ken Caminiti, number 21. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 13, Jim Leyritz, number 13. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 22, Wally Joyner, number 22.
Welcome back. I must have done something. We had the edge and we lost it.
Batting seventh, the center fielder, number 12, Steve Finley, number 12. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 9, Carlos Hernandez, number 9. Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 10, Chris Gomez, number 10. And pitching, number 27, Kevin Brown. Now, ladies and gentlemen, your 1998 American League champions, the New York Yankees. The manager, number 6, Joe Torre, number 6. Leading off, the second baseman, number 11, Chuck Knobloch, number 11. Batting second, the shortstop, number 2, Derek Jeter. Batting third, the right fielder, number 21, Paul O'Neill. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 45, Chili Davis, number 45. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 24, Tino Martinez, number 24. Seventh, the third baseman, number 18, Scott Brocious, number 18. Batting eighth, in the bullpen, the catcher, number 20, Jorge Posada, number 20. Batting ninth, the left fielder, number 38, Ricky Leday, number 38. And pitching, warming up with the bullpen, number 33, David Wells, number 33. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the microphone behind home plate. And here to honor America, please welcome New York's own Mr. Tony Bennett.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains mountain majesty above thy fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee. And crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Throwing out tonight's ceremonial first pitch is one of the men who captured the world's attention this summer with the dramatic home run chase. While slugging 66 home runs and leading the majors in RBIs, he became one of baseball's best ambassadors. Please welcome to Yankee Stadium, Mr. Sammy Sosa.
Gracias.
Sammy Sosa of the Chicago Cubs with tonight's ceremonial first pitch. And when we come back to the house that Ruth built, it'll be game one of the 1998 World Series. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, and Bob Brenly will rejoin us after this timeout on Fox. The lights just seem to shine the brightest at Yankee Stadium in the month of October. And here we are getting ready for World Series Game 1, 1998. The San Diego Padres and the New York Yankees. And welcome to the broadcast booth, everyone. I'm Joe Buck, along with my partners Tim McCarver and Bob Brenly. Well, some say it's only fitting that here in the final leg of the 1998 season, a historic season for baseball, the New York Yankees are going for another World Championship. Why? Because this has truly been a dominating season for the Yankees. You see their accomplishments, including 114 victories, the most in the history of the American League. Yet Tim McCarver, as they head into this World Championship, and many believe that they have to take this final step to validate what has been a great year here for the Yankees, they do have some question marks.
And you might say, why question marks, since they've won 7 of 9 playoff games? Well, their question marks comes from their offense, namely Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter, and Tino Martinez. They have to get off the mat and get on track. Only 229 for the Yankees during the postseason. Their runs per game are down a couple, but look at the earned run average. Joe Torre saying that his team lives and dies with pitching, and they've lived and died. They've lived a lot this year with the boomer David Wells, who's 3-0 in postseason.
Yeah, he has also won his last 5 consecutive postseason starts, but Bob Brenly, don't tell these San Diego Padres that they can't do something. They've already proven it twice in this postseason. Don't tell them they can't beat the Yankees.
They've been underdogs going all the way back to spring training, Joe. Nobody expected the Padres to win.
They weren't supposed to win their division. They did that with 98 victories. They weren't supposed to beat the Astros. They beat Randy Johnson twice in that series. They weren't supposed to beat the Braves in the NLCS. They beat Glavine twice and Maddox once. Once again, they're underdogs coming into the World Series. Everybody thinks they're underdogs except for the Padres because of this man right here, Kevin Brown. 16 starts against the Yankees, a 12-3 lifetime record, the best record of any pitcher in history against the Yankees.
Folks, take a good look tonight. This might be the only matchup of these two aces. Brown might pitch in Game 4. Wells is scheduled for Game 5. We have game number 1 of the 1998 World Series coming your way from Yankee Stadium. The Padres and the New York Yankees after this quick timeout. Right on cue, the New York Yankees take the field. 114 victories during the regular season. David Wells heads to the mound to work against the San Diego Padres. And here's the Coors Light starting lineup for Bruce Bochy's Padres. They lead it off with Kilvio Veras at second base. Tony Gwynn batting second in right field. We will highlight him throughout the night. Right now we highlight Greg Vaughn hitting third and left. Ken Caminetti cleans up at third base. The DH, former Yankee Jim Leyritz. Wally Joyner at first base. Steve Finley is in center. Carlos Hernandez catching. And Chris Gomez is at short and batting ninth. A look at the San Diego Padre defense. You see Gwynn in right, 5-time Gold Glove Award winner. They will take the field in the bottom of this inning right now. The New York Yankee defense backing up the left-handed pitcher David Wells. You look at his 1998 postseason, 3-0 with an ERA under 2. He couldn't be pitching any better.
Exactly the opposite of what you usually hear about a left-handed pitcher, an erratic lefty. David Wells is not erratic. Only 3 walks in 23+ innings in the postseason. Has very good control of all of his pitches.
And he has earned the right to become the Yankees' #1 pitcher. He is the #1 guy right now. Controls both sides of the plate. The outside of the plate to a right-handed batter with a 2-seam fastball and a 4-seam fastball that he uses as a little cutter on the inside. Very effective with his curveball, and he'll throw it behind in the count. He can be wild in the strike zone, and what that means is sometimes 0-2, 1-2, he makes too good a strike and not a pitch just off the plate.
It's worth bringing up that Joe Torre has gone to David Wells this season, and particularly in this postseason, as his #1 starter. But that really has happened here in 1998 alone. He's bounced around in his career, and last year was not the #1 starter for the Yankees. When you start to look back at the regular season for David Wells, which included the Major League's 14th perfect game on May 17th here against Minnesota, and this has truly been a year that he has never seen the likes of. David Wells has had a career year in 1998.
Throughout his career, he was widely recognized as a guy with great stuff, but a guy that would lose concentration, lose his focus from time to time out there on the mound. This year, for the most part, he's been able to stay focused on what it is he has to do to get opposing hitters out.
As Kilvio Veras walks in, we remind you the broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. Glad you're with us. This is the 94th World Series. And here at Yankee Stadium, the 89th World Series game in the history of this ballpark, where a lot of baseball history resides. Kilvio Veras first up, with Gwynn and Vaughn to follow. Ball up from David Wells.
We talked to Bruce Bochy before the game, and obviously the Padres are aware that Wells is not a good fielder. The only dent in his armor. Bruce was saying, well, the only 2 guys we have to bunt for us, Veras and Steve Finley.
It's Veras now, and it's ball 2, 2-0. Kevin Brown, tonight's San Diego starter. He is their ace. David Wells, the American League Championship Series MVP, the Yankee ace. 2-1 to Veras. Who called that a strike? Richie Garcia. He's behind the plate in his 4th World Series with Hirschbeck at first, Dale Scott at second, Dana DeMuth at third. Down the left field line, Tim Tschida. His first World Series down the right field line, Jerry Crawford from the National League. 2-2.
Well, that's a book on Kilvio Veras. Throw him a strike and then go up the ladder. You can see that fastball up around the letters. That's not a pitch that he's going to be successful swinging at.
We'll see another 2-2 pitch from David Wells.
You'll see another 2-2 fastball in all probability. Tony Gwynn on deck. Catchers are trained to call for the pitch that a pitcher best gets over on a 2-2 count. You do not want to run the count to 3-2.
Missing up with that fastball, 93 miles per hour, and the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So look at Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach for the New York Yankees, and a favorite of Yankee fans while he pitched here. 3-time 20-game winner. Still 3-2. Well, let's detail the season for David Wells as he works this game 1 of the World Series. In the regular season, a record of 18-4. Good ERA of under 3.5 in the postseason. 3-0. Combined 21-4. And the Yankees combined 121 victories, including this postseason. Big swings by little Kilvio Veras, and it stays full 3-2.
All of these situations, just here it is, hit it. Fastball again. 7 in a row from Wells.
Just high for ball 4 and a leadoff walk. A good start for the Padres as Veras reaches first on the free pass with Gwynn coming up.
Tell you how rare this leadoff walk is. After the perfect game, David Wells went 165 innings in a row without walking the leadoff batter. And here he walks Kilvio Veras.
And now Tony Gwynn. In this postseason, a combined .220. During the regular season, National League's 9th best average at .321. Strike 1 from Wells.
And anytime you put a runner on base ahead of a hitter like Tony Gwynn, you're asking for trouble. Tony Gwynn can find holes in the infield when the defense is playing straight up. You force that first baseman to hold on a base runner, suddenly you have a big hole in the right side of the infield, and we know Tony Gwynn uses the left side of the infield as well.
Check on Veras. Tony Gwynn is one of the most likable and one of, if not the hardest working hitter in the game of baseball today. Nobody works harder at the craft, and nobody has been rewarded more. As he approaches 3,000 hits in his career, he has won 8 batting titles. 0-1 the count from David Wells. Ball and a strike. If you don't know the story, Tony Gwynn, the last remaining Padre, at least active, that was a part of the 1984 San Diego team that went to the World Series only to lose. Bruce Bochy was a part of that club as well. Only to lose to the Detroit Tigers in 5 games. Veras is running as Gwynn pokes a base hit into left field. Veras will stop as Leday came up ready to throw. A walk, a single, and the Padres have something working in the first.
That was a breaking ball. Only 2 breaking balls from David Wells, but look at Tony Gwynn. The front shoulder staying in there, and he just serves one through the shortstop position that was vacated by Derek Jeter. That is the 5.5 hole for Tony Gwynn. The reason for that is the shortstop's position, the number, if you're keeping score, is 6. The third baseman is 5, and that 5.5 is between the shortstop and the third baseman. Done again beautifully by Tony Gwynn. How many times Had National League pitchers seen that?
Big swing by Vaughn, strike one. And Vaughn is the big thumper for the San Diego Padres. He's been bothered by a strained left quad. Suffered in game 1 of the NLCS, but during the regular season hit 50 home runs. A quiet crowd here at Yankee Stadium as the Padres have put the first 2 on, and Vaughn takes a strike. It's 0-2.
You see Greg Vaughn's hot zone, able to handle that pitch up and in, looking to pull the ball for the most part until he gets to 2 strikes. Then he's more likely to use the whole field, but always has pulling the ball to left field in the back of his mind.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Greg Vaughn is the cousin of Mo Vaughn. As you look at Ken Caminiti on deck, I asked Greg before the game if he's talked to Mo. He said 2 days ago a scouting report on David Wells. Said he likes to work inside and outside, and he's going to try to take the outside part of the plate away from him by standing closer to the plate.
Barris trying to steal third as Vaughn bounces one to Knobloch for the 4-3 double play. Runner at third, 2 out.
That's where that pitch was, Bob, on the outside corner. Just a little tail on it, and he got the ground ball for the double play.
And with 2 strikes, Vaughn doesn't have the luxury of laying off of that pitch. It was too close to take, but far enough away from him with enough movement that he couldn't get the head of the bat on it and drive it.
Knobloch, who at times has had difficulty throwing the ball this season. No problems with that throw. And now with a runner at third and 2 down, it's Caminiti batting right-handed, taking ball 1. The postseason, just 2 home runs. 2 important home runs for San Diego, although his second in a losing cause eventually against John Smoltz, his first in the NLCS. Won game 1. Solo shot in the 10th inning in a 3-2 Padre win. Out in front on a changeup, and Caminiti a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Leyritz would like to get his chance here in the first inning. On deck with 2 down. Strike 2. Stays 1-2. Caminiti, a former MVP this season, hit just .252 and belted 29 home runs. 2 totals that are down compared to his usual career numbers.
Ken Caminiti is not picking up the fastball. You do him a favor here if you go with your curveball, because that speeds up the bat head.
Broken bat, and it stays at 1-2.
Now, many times as a pitcher and a catcher, you can learn more from a foul ball than you can from a ball put into play.
Isn't that the truth?
Caminiti swinging very tardy on the fastball, gets jammed and breaks his bat on another fastball on the inside part of the plate. Obviously, with 2 strikes, you have to be more defensive as a hitter, but Caminiti has not really come close to getting around on a David Wells fastball during the course of this at bat.
The first inning started out so promising for San Diego. A walk, a single, a scoreless first for San Diego with the Yankees coming up. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Bottom of the first inning, no score. A look at the Coors Light starting lineup for the New York Yankees. They lead off with Chuck Knobloch at second base. Derek Jeter bats second at short. Paul O'Neill is hitting third in right field. Bernie Williams cleans up. See what he did during the regular season. He won the American League batting title with that .339 batting average. Then Chili Davis, the DH. Tino Martinez at first. Scott Brocious at third. Jorge Posada catching, batting eighth. And batting ninth, the left fielder, Ricky Leday, the rookie. I already showed you the San Diego defense, and a look now at the San Diego ace, Kevin Brown.
He has great stuff, but more than that, he is the most creative pitcher in baseball today. He will throw any pitch from any arm angle to either right-handers or left-handers, and that primarily is his success.
The word you most often hear associated with Kevin Brown is nasty. Hitters just do not like to face this guy.
Chuck Knobloch hitting .167 in this postseason. Hasn't liked facing anybody since the curtain came down on the regular season of 1998. Takes a strike from Kevin Brown. Jeter will follow, and then O'Neill. Kevin Brown pitched in last year's World Series while with the Florida Marlins and was 0-2. Just missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. He was a loser in Game 6 and refused to leave the clubhouse until hours after that game. He was waited just about a full year, and he gets a chance at redemption here in a San Diego uniform against the Yankees. That's over the inside corner, according to Rich Garcia and not Chuck Knobloch, and the count 1-2.
That was one of those creative pitches right there. The lean back, and then he came inside on Knobloch. Often when a pitcher leans back and drops down, he'll go away. You don't know what Brown's going to do.
A ball and 2 strikes from Brown. 2-2.
And the Yankees were a very patient hitting team during the regular season. They led the American League with 653 walks, but generally teams that face Kevin Brown make up their mind they're going to try to be aggressive, try to get him early in the count before he has a chance to get ahead and really start creating things out there on the mound.
Knobloch is jammed, and a pop-up to Gomez at short. 1 up, 1 down for the Yankees.
Well, obviously, this is going to be a very general scouting report because, as Tim said, he invents things out there on the mound, but his best pitch is that heavy sinker. He's used the 4-seam fastball a lot more this year, which he will use against the left-handed hitters of the Yankees to try to get him to chase high out of the strike zone, and a veritable potpourri of other pitches. Slider, a cutter, a 3/4 curve, splitter, changeup, sidearm, underhanded, whatever it takes.
That splitter courtesy of Dave Stewart, who had such phenomenal success in the latter part of his career.
He's the Padre pitching coach as Jeter takes a strike over the outside corner. And we will be staring into those eyes time and time again in this 1998 World Series. Everybody always talked about Stu, as they called him, as an intense competitor, and the same is said for the man on the mound now. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jeter.
Saw a great article in the paper the other day. They were asking Dave Stewart about the various pitchers on the Padres staff and how you have to handle everybody individually. And he had words of advice for each pitcher on the staff. When it came to Kevin Brown, Stu said, I just kind of leave him alone. If there's anybody that could out-intense Dave Stewart, it may be Kevin Brown.
Derek Jeter, a little late, strike 2.
Derek Jeter, with 2 strikes on him, is more inclined to go the other way. Again, this is a general look at where he hits pitches, but you can throw the ball inside on the plate, and Derek Jeter will take that pitch the other way. Very adept at going the other way, especially with 2 strikes.
A ball and 2 strikes here, and it goes the other way, but right at Veras. 2 up, 2 down. So an uneventful start for the Yankees against Kevin Brown, with their number 3 hitter Paul O'Neill coming up.
Derek Jeter becomes a real defensive hitter with 2 strikes, and you can see that inside fastball trying to go the other way, but Brown just muscled it in there. And Derek couldn't get the head of the bat out.
Jeter shocked everybody, including Manny Ramirez, in Game 6 of the American League Championship Series, taking a pitch inside and driving it to the base of the wall in right center field. As Paul O'Neill digs in with 2 out, nobody on. And takes a strike.
Well, so far a good start for the Padres. The Yankees have done the majority of their offensive damage in the postseason in the first inning, batting .415 the first time around against that opposing pitcher. Haven't had as much luck after the first inning.
1 ball, 1 strike, but that's against a couple of aces. You look at Cleveland, they're still searching for an ace, and they're very public about that. And you look at Texas, they rented an ace in Todd Stottlemyre, who threw well here in the division series, but it wasn't good enough. No competition like Kevin Brown. And the result, 3 up, 3 down. In the first inning for Brown and the Padres as the Yankees go in order. Jim Leyritz, the former Yankee, will lead off the second for San Diego. No score. Jim Leyritz will lead it off for San Diego here in the second, with Wally Joyner and Steve Finley to follow. Jim Leyritz stomps to the plate. He got the loudest ovation of any of the Padres, for good reason, during the introductions, during the pregame ceremony. A look at what he's done in this postseason, and overall in his career, 7 postseason home runs in just 48 at bats, and a couple of big ones while wearing the Yankee pinstripes. Facing David Wells, who got around a walk and a hit in the first inning, and taking ball 1. Jim Leyritz just bursting with confidence. His nickname is the King, given to him here in New York while playing with Don Mattingly. After basically calling a home run when he was a young player for the Yankees. 2 balls, no strikes, as Wells missed with a changeup.
Leyritz following that pitch all the way into the catcher's glove. He was born and raised near Cincinnati, Ohio, and grew up idolizing Pete Rose, and emulates that style of watching the ball all the way in.
2-1.
Wells with a high fastball here. Leyritz in the 2-0 count, just looking for a fastball somewhere to hit. That one a little bit higher than he could handle.
At the knees, 2-2. Tino Martinez, the easy pickup. And that's 3 in a row retired by Wells as he gets the leadoff hitter here in the second.
You know a pitcher is throwing hard when he falls behind a hitter, as Wells does with ball 1, ball 2, and now the fastball, he can't catch up to it. Fastball can't catch up to it. Fastball can't catch up to it. David Wells is throwing awfully hard tonight.
Now Wally Joyner. First World Series game in the long major league career for Wally Joyner. Right down the middle, strike 1 from Wells. Wells seems to get the ball up there in the mid-90s almost effortlessly. I don't know if it's his appearance on the mound or the manner in which he brings it to the plate, but all of a sudden you look at the radar gun, it's 93, 94 miles per hour. There aren't many left-handers in the game today that have that kind of stuff. Strike 2 on Joyner. Wally Joyner broke in with the Angels. He's hit 300 or better in 4 different seasons. And one of the best defensive first basemen in the game. 0-2, 2 out.
Wally Joyner, normally a very good hitter against left-handed pitching. Little cut fastball, almost a slider. You can call that one a baby slider. Just kind of in between the cut fastball and the legitimate slider, just enough to move off the corner and get Wally Joyner to take a very weak swing.
the slider, the most descriptive pitch in baseball, because it actually slid away from the left-hander Joyner for strike 3.
Steve Finley now, the number 7 hitter in Bruce Bochy's lineup. 7 out of 21 in the NLCS, and for the postseason, 10 games hitting .258. First World Series at bats for so many of these Padres. Win one exception. For the Yankees, who were here in 1996 with many of the same players and cast of characters, they have a little more seasoning and a little more experience as baseball spotlight falls on the Fall Classic. 2-0, now 2-1.
You said it, Tim. David Wells is throwing hard tonight, but he cannot consistently fall behind these Padres hitters 2-0 all night long. Eventually they'll turn up that bat just a notch, and they'll start getting on that 2-0 fastball.
Bases empty with 2 out, and Finley 2-2. A look at David Cone, who is scheduled to throw in Game 3. This crowd wants to see Wells' 3rd strikeout of the night. Instead, Finley shoots the gap in right center field. Well hit and up against the wall. Finley digs for second and is content with a 2-out stand-up double.
We talked about it with Ken Caminetti. When a hitter is behind the fastball, if you throw the wrinkle, which means a slider or a curveball, you actually speed up the bat head. And that's what David Wells does with Steve Finley. It was a hanging slider, the only hanging pitch that David's thrown thus far. And Steve hopped on that one quickly to double to right center.
You can see the kind of speed the Padres have on the bases now with Finley, the runner at second, 2 out for Carlos Hernandez. Hernandez pops it into right. David Wells gets around more trouble as he gets Hernandez to fly to right. And the Padres do nothing with a 2-out double from Finley. It'll be Williams, Davis, Martinez for the Yankees in the second, no score. One of America's most enduring corporate images, the Goodyear blimp, floating overhead, providing aerial views for tonight's Game 1 of the World Series. The Spirit of Akron is proud to be a part of the 100th anniversary celebration of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. We thank them for joining us tonight. Inside Yankee Stadium, we move to the bottom of the second. There is no score in Game 1. Kevin Brown, who went through the Yankees in order in the first, will deal with a switch-hitting cleanup man, Bernie Williams, for the Yankees. One pitch. 1 out as Caminetti shows off the arm. And let's take you down now to Chip Carey, standing by with a very special guest. Chip.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Let's talk about this beautiful book, The Race for the Record, official Major League Baseball commemorative book for Big Mac and my guest, Sammy Sosa, the Chicago Cubs. What a year, my friend. Who? What a year.
Well, I love it. I have to say that American people have been showing me that appreciation. It's been an unbelievable year. Nothing more I can ask as a human being. It's been lovely, especially, throw the first part, the first part of the World Series. What more you can ask?
And how about a parade in your honor today in New York City? What's with that?
Oh, man, I thought I was in Dominican today. It was unbelievable, man. I mean, I got to go back to my country Tuesday. But, today, people supporting me. It was being unbelievable. And me, every day getting more bigger and bigger. I love it.
And, Sammy, everybody knows about your exploits on the field, but I think people would be interested in knowing what you've done off the field, trying to bring disaster relief to your native homeland of the Dominican Republic.
There's definitely, with Sammy Sosa Charity Foundation, I have a lot of opportunity to help out a lot of people and go out there and support 100%. And hey, tell you what, I love it, and I have a lot of support for the American people. When I go back to my country, I'm going to give what the American people give me.
Well, Sammy, how about one of those trademark kisses for the fans in the Dominican and here in the U.S.?
Believe it. Baseball being very, very good to me. I love you, Mama.
All right, Sammy Sosa, thank you very much. Enjoy the game. Joe, back to you.
All right, Chip. Well, Sammy Sosa was on the mound to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. He's glad he was off the mound as this ball came back through the box and hit Kevin Brown as it kicked to Kilvio Veras for the first Yankee hit.
Chili Davis, a good low ball hitter from the left side of the plate, goes right back up the middle of the field. That hit Kevin Brown somewhere down around the foot or the ankle, perhaps the shin. Veras tried to make the bare hand play, could not come up with it. Well, actually, it looked like it perhaps just skinned him on the shin, hit the pitcher's mound, and then trickled out behind the mound. You can see Brown telling Veras no play, trying to hold him up and keep him throwing the ball away.
So a painful first hit given up by Kevin Brown. 1 on with 1 out, and Tino Martinez takes a ball as Carlos Hernandez just saved a wild pitch. So the Yankees have their first base runner. It is Chili Davis. And now Tino Martinez and Scott Brocious will try to chase him around the bases. One ball, no strikes on Tino Martinez. The Yankees are wondering when Tino Martinez will show up in the postseason. A harsh way to put it, but that's the reality. For this entire postseason, just 5 out of 30. In the 1996 World Series, he hit .091 and at one point was replaced by Cecil Fielder in Joe Torre's lineup. He gets a second chance at it. He takes high. 3-0 from Kevin Brown.
Joe Torre has even toyed with the possibility of playing Chili Davis at first base. Chili has not played defensively since 1994 when he played 2 games in the outfield, but he has been taking ground balls at first base. And if Tino doesn't snap out of this postseason slump, perhaps we'll see Chili Davis take his glove out there.
Might be hitting here.
Takes right down the middle, 3-1.
Well, that was a tailing fastball on the outside part of the plate. Even if you're hitting right there, you want the ball to be in your zone. And his zone is on the inner half. That zone to drive it down a 314 porch here at Yankee Stadium.
Now time is called over at first base. Chili Davis gets the audio instructions from Jose Cardinal.
I don't think this is a running situation. There are a lot of major league managers who like to run with the count 3-1. They stay out of the double play. But you force a hitter struggling like Tino Martinez to swing at a pitch just out of the zone.
Not running, ball 4, 2 on, 1 out.
Bob mentioned that Chili Davis was a low ball hitter. When we put up the hit zone right there, we flash low because Chili Davis against a guy like Kevin Brown, doubly tough. Look where the pitch is. Right down in his wheelhouse. And a rope off the glove or off the left leg of Kevin Brown for the first Yankee hit.
Chili Davis, who missed most of the season with torn ligaments in his right ankle, is the lead runner for the Yankees. Is Scott Brocious, who leads the Yankees in 1998 postseason RBIs, is at the plate, batting 7th. A new position in this lineup for Brocious. With Posada and Leday in there, it's Brocious hitting 7th, and he has a chance to put the Yankees on top here in the 2nd. 1 ball, 1 strike from Brown. During the regular season, hit .372 with runners in scoring position. A reason why. The bottom of the order, he was able to drive in 98 runs. That's off his front foot. It's a dead ball, a painful left foot, and a 1-2 count.
That's one thing Kevin Brown can do. He can not only break bats, but he can hurt the left foot of a lot of right-handed batters, because when they put that sinker in play, it's often off their left ankle or left instep. One thing Brocious has been able to do this year with 2 strikes is go the other way. He doesn't do it as well as Jeter, but he can find that hole between first and second with the best of the right-handed hitters in the American League.
Two on, 1 out, a ball and 2 strikes on Brocious. 2-2. Billy Davis, the lead runner, with Tino Martinez at first. Nine out of 22 for Brocious in his career against Kevin Brown. A big strikeout for Brown of the Padres as Brocious is gone. Nasty pitch down and away, and now 2 on, 2 out here in the Yankees second.
You see Hernandez moves inside. The pitch is outside on the corner and below the knees. Brocious not able to hold up.
I think that shot of Hernandez there proves at one point that Kevin Brown is as tough to catch as he is to hit, even though the catcher knows what's coming.
That may be something to look for from the Yankees as this game progresses. When they get the guys on base who are able to steal, may see Joe Torre be a little more aggressive on the bases.
Posada now with 2 on, 2 out takes a ball.
You know yourself, Tim, as a catcher, if the pitcher's ball is moving all over the place, very rarely do you catch it in the good part of the glove where you can get a grip and unload the ball quickly.
Don't catch it cleanly.
Right down the middle with a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kevin Brown, no matter what the situation, always looks mad out there on the mound, and he is intently staring in at the signs given by Carlos Hernandez. Wants a new set as he prepares the 1-1 pitch to Jorge Posada. 2-1.
You can see Carlos Hernandez has either put white tape or fingernail polish or white out or something on the fingernails of his right hand to make it easier for his pitcher to see the signs. A lot of shadows around home plate when that catcher's giving those signals.
The 2-1. That's low to make it 3-1 with Ricky Leday, the rookie outfielder, on deck.
There you can see the fingernail polish or white out or whatever that happens to be on the right hand of Carlos Hernandez.
And now the 3-1. Posada pops it up by the San Diego dugout and out of the reach of Hernandez. Full count. So Posada was not able to put the ball in play as Hernandez ran out of room over by the San Diego dugout. One thing the full count does do for the Yankees is give Chili Davis a head start at second base. He and Tino Martinez will take off on this 3-2 pitch from Brown.
I could just see the manicurist today. I'd like the off-white on one hand, please.
Runners will go on 3-2. That'll load him up for Ricky Leday. A single, 2 walks in the inning. A strikeout mixed in, and now Leday. Ricky Leday, of all people, getting the start here in Game 1 of the 1998 World Series for a team that won 114 games. The rookie who played in only 42 games during the regular season. The cast of characters that the Yankees ran out to left field during the ALCS, including Tim Raines and Shane Spencer and Chad Curtis and Leday, combined 1 for 22. So it's Leday's start with the bases loaded, 2 down. And it's strike 1 from Kevin Brown. Lonnie Smith for the last Grand Slam in World Series play. Leday, his chance. 1 ball, 1 strike. Billy Davis, a 1-out hit, followed by a walk to Tino Martinez and a 2-out walk to Posada. Strike 2 on Leday, who has a chance with runners on here in the second. If you look at the left fielders for the Yankees this past ALCS combined, they left 17 runners on base. 1 for 22, as I mentioned, and here's Leday with the bases loaded, 2 out, and a 1 ball, 2 strike count. 2-2. The Yankees trying to strike first in this World Series. Trying to strike against Kevin Brown here in the second. Full count, and everybody will be on the move with this next pitch. Down the right field line. It's a fair ball. Davis scores. Martinez scores. They will hold Posada. It's 2-0 New York.
When you see that many pitches, the pitches start becoming predictable. Leday gets a fastball and ropes it down the line just fair. They're dancing in the streets of Salinas, Puerto Rico right now. 50 people from Salinas showed up to see Leday in his first major league game on June the 11th. They had a big Puerto Rican parade here in New York, a huge event. How proud they must be right now.
His first postseason hit comes in the World Series to put the Yankees on top, and now ball 1 to Knobloch.
And you can see how near Carlos Hernandez was to missing that pitch completely. Dave Stewart on his way out to the mound, perhaps to settle down Kevin Brown. Watch Hernandez as he boxes this ball behind home plate, almost gets by him. Fortunately, caroms around, hits him on the thigh, and stays in front. I think Joe Torre found his left fielder, at least for one at bat. Ricky Leday in there tonight, the 2 aces matching up. You figured it to be a low-scoring game. Joe Torre says he plays solid defense. He has a good arm in the outfield. And maybe he'll do something offensively, and already he's made an impact on this ball game.
Leday's success coming in the wake of the Shane Spencer story here in New York with what he did in the month of September for Joe Torre, and then 2 home runs in the division series against Texas. But not much in the ALCS, and it's Leday's turn tonight. Strike 1 to Knobloch. Kevin Brown was behind the hitters in Game 5 of the NLCS, coming out of the bullpen for San Diego. Leadoff walk to Klesko in that 8th inning, and eventually the 3-run home run from Michael Tucker is the Braves' delayed elimination. 1-2 the count on Knobloch here with 2nd and 3rd, 2 down. A couple of walks here in the 2nd inning, handed out by Brown. The 3-2 pitch driven down the line by Leday. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Knobloch.
Think of the deep counts in this inning. Tino Martinez walking on a 3-1 pitch, a 2-2 pitch Brosha struck out on, Posada walked, and then a 3-2 pitch to Ricky Leday. The Yankees, as you said earlier, Bob, a lot of deep counts.
Still 2-2 on Knobloch.
Plus, they have a lot of guys who refuse to give in with 2 strikes. I think the Yankees have as good a 2-strike hitters as any lineup in baseball.
A look at Chris Chambliss, the hitting instructor for Joe Torre, and hopefully a future Major League manager. Second and third, 2 down, 2 runs home for the Yankees. And Knobloch looking for his first postseason RBI. 3-2. Knobloch drove in 2 in the World Series back in 1991. 0 for the Yankees in 1998. Throughout this entire postseason. Inning over, but not before damage done by the Yankees. Ricky Leday down the right field line, just fair, just right for New York. 2-0. Back after this from your local Fox station. Callista Flockhart, who will forever, the rest of her life, be known as Ally McBeal, wearing David Wells' $35,000 Babe Ruth hat, is checking out the action here at Yankee Stadium. Monday night, Ally gets arrested for wearing a micro miniskirt. That's Monday night, an all-new Ally McBeal right here on Fox. Here's Chris Gomez, 3rd inning, 2-0. The Yankees lead behind David Wells. Pitched into and out of trouble in the first, got around a 2-out double by Finley in the second, and works to the number 9 hitter Gomez leading off the 3rd. Inside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike.
David Wells, meanwhile, wearing the $15 Yankee issue given to him by the equipment manager. But he did pitch an inning in that $35,000 Babe Ruth cap.
That's not it, though.
No, it's not. No.
Strike 2 on Gomez.
But that is a well-worn Yankees cap. You can usually tell the front runners, the fair weather fans, they have their brand new caps on, maybe with the price tag still hanging off of it, but it's obvious that cap's been to a few ball games right there.
A ball and 2 strikes on Chris Gomez. Wells has struck out 2. Still 1-2. Talk about David Wells and his fondness for baseball history, and in particular Yankee history. And his love for George Herman Ruth. That's why he wears number 33, doubling up the Babe's number. A ball and 2 strikes. Gomez fights it off and floats a base hit into left field.
Come on, Babe.
1 on, nobody out for the Padres here in the 3rd inning. And this was during interleague play as David Wells got up close and personal with a Babe Ruth impersonator. Think how long that guy waited for interleague play. Finally happened, and he had his photo opportunity with David Wells, the Boomer they call him, with his shirt hanging out.
Yeah, he can wear a uniform now. David Wells looks like a sack of potatoes out there at times, but with his motion, he needs all that uniform for comfort. A high leg kick, constantly pulling it up over his shoulders in the back.
That sack of potatoes can flat pitch, Kenny.
You better believe it. Doesn't matter what you look like out there.
He's an everyman hero for those of us who are slightly weight challenged. As I open up a door to my heart. 1 on, nobody out. 1 ball, no strikes. One and one on Kilvio Veras, who drew a walk his first time up. Boy, he takes a big swing. We see him a lot. And you see time and time again that a leadoff hitter, not a big guy with very little power, he just lets it fly.
That's why I said in the NLCS, a lot of times Kilvio Veras is a better hitter with 2 strikes because he doesn't take that big rip. Just tries to make contact and spray the ball around, which is when he is much more effective.
Doesn't look like the swing of a guy who's due for surgery at the end of the season.
tighten up ligaments in his left shoulder. That's into right field. O'Neill over to get it. One out. Back to first is Gomez. That'll bring in Tony Gwynn, who gets a chance to come back to the World Series. A 14-year layoff since 1984.
I'm so happy about being here, first of all. But secondly, it's a chance for us to, I think, establish ourselves. It's a chance for us to kind of make our mark in history. And so for whatever team after us has another opportunity, they can go back to this team, hopefully.
As Gwynn digs in with 1 on 1 out, Tony a base hit his first time up. Tony Gwynn has been quoted as talking about the New York Yankees and their fabled history, saying the Padres have no history. Now, Gwynn is about the only guy who could get away with that. A guy who is known as Mr. Padre. He came out here to Yankee Stadium yesterday during the workout and just took in Monument Park. Said it was like a trip to Cooperstown as he plays in his first game ever at Yankee Stadium.
Had he been a member of the Yankees 17 years ago, he'd be in that ballpark. They'd have a monument out there to him. 8 National League batting titles, a 14-time NL All-Star, and the 5 Gold Gloves, the things of which he is most proud. They'd have a plaque of Tony out there.
0-1 the count. To the first baseman, Martinez. Good play. Finally gets it with his foot on the bag. 2 down. By holding the runner on as they were doing with Gomez at first. Took an extra base hit away from Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn hits to the situation so well. He knows he has that hole on the right side of the infield. Normally not a dead pull hitter, but tried to take a shot. That hole between first and second, pulled it just a little bit too much. Martinez able to knock it down and retire him at first.
Now Gomez at second. He was at first with nobody out. He's at second with 2 out for Greg Vaughn. Strike 1. Vaughn was booed during the pregame ceremonies, I think, because he flunked the physical. Last year, a trade was worked out between San Diego and the Yankees. Vaughn came here. He's had chronic trouble with his right shoulder, really both shoulders. But he failed the physical and was sent back to San Diego. And he comes up with a career year. 50 home runs and 119 RBIs. Strike 2 from David Wells.
Greg telling us that he's going to try, as you look at Hideki Irabu, he's going to try to take the outside part of the plate away from David Wells. So far, he's been unsuccessful, because that's where Wells has gotten him out.
That's yanked foul. He had that shot of Hideki Irabu, former quote-unquote property of the San Diego Padres, who traded the negotiating rights to the Yankees along with other players last season. And Hideki Irabu made his big splash here in New York and nearly sank. He did not pitch well last season. He bounced back with a decent year this year, finished strong, had a couple of valleys during the year, and he's been resting out of that bullpen since the regular season ended.
And he will be the first guy up when one of the starters, if one of the starters, runs into problems in the early innings.
David Wells wants a new baseball as he prepares for the 0-2 pitch to Vaughn. A look at some of the starters for the Yankees, including El Duque, who will start in Game 2 tomorrow night. Cone before Hernandez will work Game 3 in San Diego. Vaughn into right center field. Well hit. Back at the track. The wall. This game is tied. Greg Vaughn goes deep into right center field, gets his second postseason home run of this year, and ties the Yankees at 2 here in the third.
Did he ever take the outside part of the plate away from David Wells? That is a nasty pitch for a second. And the strength of Greg Vaughn just overpowering that fastball over the 385 sign ties this baby up.
You know, Tim, I think earlier in that sequence when Vaughn pulled that line drive foul down the left field line, that was on a cut fastball inside that David Wells didn't get in there far enough. I think that rattled the Yankees. Posada went to the mound. Jeter came to the mound. They decided to go back away. And as you mentioned earlier, that's where Vaughn is going to look in this series, away.
That's what Mo said. And Mo Vaughn, his cousin. Boy, that takes tremendous strength to do what he just did. That low and away fastball just off the plate overpowers it the other way.
Saw the stat, 4th postseason home run allowed by David Wells this year. Surprisingly high total for a guy who comes into this game in this postseason 3-0. 2 out, nobody on, and Caminetti strikes out on the pitch down and in. Greg Vaughn jumps up and bites the team that in a way didn't want him. Opposite field shot, a 2-2 game heading to the bottom of the third. In just a few weeks, one of Fox's all-time favorite stars, Luke Perry, returns to Beverly Hills 90210. Evidently seated next to Callista Flockhart. Now we know where the good seats are that Fox got for this.
We might have a scoop.
90210 and Party of 5 return with all new episodes Wednesday, October 28th on Fox, as Derek Jeter is first up with O'Neill to follow and Bernie Williams. 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Yankees. Quickly 0-2 on Jeter, who bounced out the opposite way to second his first time up. One of the Yankees that, Tim, you highlighted during our open. The Yankees need to get going in this postseason. As he takes ball 1, Jeter is now 6 out of 35.
Derek, the rookie of the year in 1996, a .324 average with 19 home runs and doing all the things he could do defensively. What a career he has in front of him. Turned 24 years old this year. Playing in a town that loves him, and he loves the town. Matinee idol here in New York.
Perfect fit for the Yankees and their young shortstop, who gets better and better. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Still 2-2, and you couldn't find a more perfect fit, if that makes any sense, than Joe Torre in the dugout, leading this team, working in his 3rd season, wins the World Championship in 1996, gets the postseason last year, an early exit in the division series against Cleveland, and now he's back trying for another world title as Jeter stays alive, still 2-2. Billy Crystal, big Yankee fan, who doesn't have a show on Fox, is watching down to our right.
Not yet.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeter. Full count, and again you watch Hernandez, who has struggled from time to time behind the plate catching Kevin Brown.
You're not a catcher catching Kevin Brown. You're a goalie. Just knock it down. This is an example of how difficult it is to catch Kevin Brown. He is a handful out there. Speaking of handfuls,
Bob Gibson, who now is a part of the American League office. Jeter, a little flare into right for Gwynn, and that's the first out here in the 3rd inning. As you watch Kevin Brown on the mound, we had a shot of Bob Gibson. You think back to what Brown did in Game 1 of the division series against the Houston Astros. Kevin Brown struck out 16 Houston Astros, then was taken out in the 9th inning for closer Trevor Hoffman. Second most in the postseason to Bob Gibson, 17 in Game 1 of the 1968 World Series against the Tigers. Paul O'Neill with 1 out, nobody on. The ball low from Kevin Brown.
Bob Gibson, as a matter of fact, was the last pitcher to start games 1, 4, and 7 in the World Series and win. He did that in 1967 against the Boston Red Sox.
And the Padres and Bruce Bochy, Bob, are being rewarded for their approach with Kevin Brown. They worked him on short days rest in the division series, but elected not to push him and start him in Game 2 of the NLCS. And then, as almost a fluke, bring him back in relief in Game 5 so he doesn't start Game 6. And here he is ready for Game 1 of the World Series.
And potentially Game 4 and Game 7 if it goes that far.
2 balls and a strike on O'Neill. Two and two.
You know, at times it looks like Paul O'Neill's talking to himself at the plate. Either reminding himself mechanically of something to do, or maybe like Crash Davis in Bull Durham. Bring the heat, meat. Bring it in here. Very intense hitter is Paul O'Neill. Very consistent hitter is Paul O'Neill. Been over 300 every year with the Yankees.
Into left field. Vaughn back to get it. And the first 2 Yankees are gone here in the 3rd.
Get a look at Greg Vaughn's at bat when he hit the home run against David Wells. Pitch on the outside part. He swings through it. Another pitch away. There's the one I think scared David Wells. He hooked that ball foul down the left field line. A rocket when he tried to come inside. Perhaps David Wells thought Vaughn must be looking inside if he handled that pitch so well, so he tried to go back away. One more time, Vaughn was waiting for it. You know, smart hitters at times will set up pitchers. Well, a guy's fastball foul down the left field line. You figure he's either going to come back with an off-speed pitch or something away from you.
Here's Bernie Williams with 2 out, nothing, shaking for the Yankees in the 3rd. Williams bounced out to 3rd on the first pitch he saw leading off the 2nd. So 0 for 1. 2-0 from Brown. Bernie Williams, who it looks more and more will test free agency at the end of this year. Kevin Brown, another one who will test free agency at the end of this year. And Bernie Williams, who won the American League batting title with an average of .339, typically one of the most approachable athletes to wear the pinstripes most recently, has been in his own world, in her manner of speaking, as he approaches the offseason. A lot of decisions and a personal matter that he is unwilling to discuss. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I can't really fault him for that. Everybody would love to know what's going on with Bernie Williams away from the field. He's exhibiting some behavior at the ballpark that's very uncharacteristic for him, leaving the yard early. But he's trying to stay focused and concentrate on the task at hand, so I can't really blame him.
Full count. Got his own flight back from Cleveland during the ALCS. Did not join in wholeheartedly in the celebration when the Yankees clinched the other night against the Indians. Was off on his own with his wife. And he bats here with 2 out, nobody on. 3-2 pitch. We'll do it again.
Talk about the free agent market and the big bucks that are going to be thrown around this winter. Mike Piazza, Randy Johnson, mentioned Kevin Brown, Bernie Williams. Marquee names out there. Where will they end up?
2 out, nobody on. 3-2 pitch. Brown rings up his third strikeout of the night. Williams is 0 for 2, and we move to the fourth inning of game one. 2 for the Yankees in the second, 2 for the Padres in the third, and the home run by Vaughn. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without expressed written consent. Glad you're with us as Jim Leyritz leads off the fourth inning for San Diego, a 2-2 game. David Wells goes back to work. Breaking ball for strike one. Leyritz bounced out to first. Leading off the second inning in his first at bat. He'll be followed by Joyner and Finley here in the fourth.
You saw those 4 homers by Jim Leyritz in this postseason, and Yankee fans, and that's the reason Leyritz was given a hand when he was introduced. Yankee fans certainly remembering that 3-run homer off Mark Wohlers in game 4 of the '96 series. That tied it. The Yankees trailed in that game 6-0 at one time. They scored 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 8th, and 1 in the 11th, scoring 2 and won the game 8-6. Beating the Braves 3 in a row down there, and they clinched it in game 6 back here at Yankee Stadium.
One away as Wells strikes out his fourth. So Leyritz is finished. He's 0 for 2, and we give you our Aflac trivia question. Who is the only San Diego Padres pitcher ever to win a World Series game for the Padres? Is Wally Joyner. 0 for 1, 1 out, nobody on. Joyner struck out his first time. By the way, in Padre history, coming into tonight, they had hit only 3 World Series home runs. 2 by Bavacqua back in 1984. The other belonged to Terry Kennedy, their catcher that year. And now Vaughn, in his second at bat, it's his first. A right center field shot to tie the game last inning. Shake of the head from Wells as he falls behind 2-0. Joyner didn't mean to do it. It's 2-1.
You hate to take a check swing on a 2-0 count or a 3-1 count. Those are understandable when you're behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes or 1 and 2 because you're trying to protect away. This is very frustrating to a good hitter like Wally Joyner.
In at the knees, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ken Caminiti, Wally Joyner, Greg Vaughn. Pieces of the new cast around Tony Gwynn. Says this is the best team he's been surrounded by in his 17 seasons as a Padre. 2-2 pitch. Into left field. Leday is there. 2 out. And Joyner's 0 for 2. Now Finley, who doubled with 2 out back in the second. In this postseason is up to 281. A nice finish to this 1998 season. Another potential free agent. Finley hit only .249 with 14 home runs during the regular season for San Diego. 2 out, nobody on, and a check on the first baseman Martinez. The Padres go in order for the first time tonight. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning with Davis, Martinez, Brocious coming up in a 2-2 game. Yankee Stadium, where they've been playing baseball since 1923. Call it the house that Ruth built. Yankees played in their first World Series back in 1921. They won their first American League pennant. They have won 23 World Championships, including 1996 under Joe Torre, with many of the same players Chili Davis one exception as he leads it off. He's 1 for 1 and comes up empty, strike one.
I would anticipate Kevin Brown using more four-seam fastballs against Chili Davis. He got the base hit on a sinker down and over the heart of the plate. Chili Davis went back up the middle of the field, you may remember. Davis more susceptible to that high four-seam fastball.
Into center field, Davis got under it, and Finley waits for it. One out, leadoff man gone here in the fourth inning. Our Aflac trivia question: who is the only San Diego Padres pitcher ever to win a World Series game for the Padres? Nothing out of Renly or McCarver.
Eric Schau? No, wrong.
Andy Hawkins, who also pitched for the New York Yankees, on our Aflac trivia answer. 1984, the World Series against the Tigers, the only game the Padres have won in their franchise history in the World Series.
Andy Hawkins pitched a no-hitter for the New York Yankees and lost the game at Old Comiskey Park in Chicago. I think it was '89.
One out, nobody on in the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Tino Martinez, who walked and scored his first time up. Into center field for Finley. He's taking care of the first two, Davis and Tino Martinez, and with 2 out, nobody on, the batter will be Brocious.
Well, Steve Finley figures to be a busy outfielder here at Yankee Stadium in games 1 and 2. Tony Gwynn hobbled by the Achilles problem, sore left knee playing right field. Greg Vaughn bothered by the sore quad playing left field. Steve Finley's got to cover a lot of ground out there in those gaps.
And left field could be a problem for the San Diego Padres. You've seen how well Ricky Leday moves around in left field. Joe Torre has said that at Yankee Stadium, in left field, you need a center fielder with the range of a center fielder because it's so spacious out there.
Brocious, strike one.
And with Vaughn's lack of mobility, that could be a defensive liability in these first 2 games. And if it gets back to game 6 or 7 here at the stadium.
A look at Ruben Rivera, former New York Yankee, now with the Padres. He has been a late inning defensive replacement for Bruce Bochy. And for a while there, while Vaughn was injured during the NLCS, had a couple of starts. We also saw Vanderwall make a couple of starts out in left field. Two and one from Brown on Brocious, who struck out his first time up. Many on this Yankee team calling Scott Brocious in his first year with the Yankees the MVP of this club, which is high praise for a team that won 114 games. Into left center field, and Finley makes a nice play to cut it off. Brocious testing him. He is out to end the 4th inning. You talk about Steve Finley, involved heavily in the 4th inning, ranging far to his right. A little juggle, a strong throw, and despite the hit, the Yankees send only 3 to the plate in the 4th inning. 5th inning of game 1, still 2-2.
3 good plays to end the 4th inning. A base hit by Brocious, and watch the recovery by Steve Finley. Finally finds the handle, and then an in-between hop fielded beautifully by Kilvio Veras, and the slide by Brocious. And even though Brocious is out by a ways, that's the time to challenge as you look at our super shot. But that is a good base running play by Scott Brocious.
So Brocious was the final out at second base to end the 4th inning. And now here in the 5th of a 2-2 game, game 1 of the 1998 World Series. Back to work is David Wells, and he hits the corner with a strike to Carlos Hernandez. 8, 9, and 1 in the order for San Diego. They fell behind early, 2-0 in the 2nd, came right back in the top of the 3rd, and the 2-out, 2-run home run by Greg Vaughn to tie it. Strike 2 on Hernandez.
A lot of times the bad base running plays that really never show up in the box score or with a lot of fans are the bases that aren't tried for in good situations. With 2 out and nobody on in a tie game, it was proper for Scott Brocious to try to get to second base. And if Finley bobbles the ball one more time, or if Veras doesn't field it cleanly, he's on second and in scoring position with 2 outs.
Well, who agrees with Tim McCarver? His friend Jose Cardinal, among others. Here's what he said to Brocious after the play.
You know what, with 2 outs, it was a good play. He wanted to try.
It looked like he turned and bobbled it.
Well, with 2 outs, he wanted to try. Why not? It's a good try. Made a good plays.
It took 2 good defensive plays to get him. Finley, the recovery, and the nice pick out of the dirt by Kilvio Veras, and it was still a close play at second base.
0-2 the count on Hernandez as he golfs one down the left field line. Leday in the corner. Hernandez the first out here in the 5th inning for San Diego.
Well, the way to get a double is to bust it out of the batter's box. Brocious watching the ball but running hard on the way to first. Cuts the bag. He sees Finley bobble the ball momentarily. That's when he makes his decision to try for 2. And as we mentioned, a couple of nice defensive plays to get it.
Finley started it. Veras was on the receiving end with a tag, and now Gomez strike 1. He's 1 for 1. Chris Gomez, the number 9 hitter, picked up his 7th hit of this postseason, leading off the 3rd, and eventually scored on the 2-out home run by Vaughn to tie this game back in the 3rd. 1 ball, 1 strike. David Wells back in the 1st inning issued a leadoff walk, then a hit by Gwynn. Got Vaughn to bounce into a double play and then struck out Caminiti. Strike 2 on Gomez with 1 out, nobody on here in the 5th inning. David Wells has won 5 consecutive postseason starts. He's involved with Kevin Brown tonight, a 2-2 game, and it's a 2-2 count on Gomez. There is no telling the end figure, how much money Kevin Brown has added to his asking price, upcoming free agent, with the way he's performed in this postseason. Gomez pops it to the shortstop Jeter. 2 up, 2 down. 6 in a row retired by David Wells. We'll tell you that tomorrow it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. First, the Washington Redskins look to slow down the undefeated Minnesota Vikings. And the Cowboys head to the Windy City to battle the Bears, plus other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. As Kilvio Veras walks in 0 for 1 with a walk. A breaking ball for a strike to Kilvio Veras. Carlos Hernandez fouled a pitch off his front foot. Actually off the shin, as he led off this 5th inning.
In the shape of a baseball.
1 ball, 1 strike on Veras.
That's all Carlos Hernandez needs, getting a foul ball off the shin after trying to catch Kevin Brown.
And that's not going to go away anytime soon.
No. December.
Yeah. Makes for a long night as he tries to corral Kevin Brown, as the Yankees try to figure out Kevin Brown and get something going outside of that 2-run on 2-hit attack in the 2nd. Brown is usually seated by himself in that San Diego dugout. Strike 2 on Veras. Talk about Brown being an intense competitor. Sometimes at the expense of his teammates, who are a little shy about getting to know Kevin Brown.
Wells.
4 strikeouts for Wells so far as Veras, a floater behind short that'll fall in for a 2-out hit. So Kilvio Veras is on base for the 2nd time tonight. And there will be no 5th well hung out on the outfield wall after Veras fought one off with 2 strikes.
Leave it to New York ingenuity, huh?
They have been awful inventive around here. Hanging Darryl Strawberry jerseys earlier in the postseason. Palm trees here in game 1 against San Diego. And David Justice also sparked some creativity with a comment he made when the ALCS returned to Yankee Stadium. The Yankees took on Cleveland. 1 on, 2 out. Tony Gwynn at the plate. Ripped down the right field line at the track at the wall. Gone. Off the facing at the bottom of the upper deck, and Tony Gwynn goes deep with his first postseason home run to put San Diego out in front 4-2.
That was a situation where David Wells was more concerned about Kilvio Veras at first base. He takes a slide step and an inside fastball, and does Gwynn ever unload? You talk about turning on an inside fastball. Wow.
Now, Tony Gwynn is the kind of hitter that could probably hit 25 or 30 home runs in a season if he altered his swing and tried to hook the ball to right field more often. You can see from the power he displayed right there, he's got a lot of size.
Now Vaughn down the left field line. If it's there, it's gone. It is a fair ball back to back, and it's all of a sudden a 5-2 San Diego lead here in game 1. Greg Vaughn gets his 2nd of the night. Back-to-back Gwynn and Vaughn, and it's a 3-run Padre lead here in the 5th. Right back to action as Wells doesn't slow down at all. He misses with ball 1 to Caminiti, who's 0 for 2.
First ball Vaughn hit out was a good pitch from Wells. That last one wasn't. Down and in. Golfed out of here.
One ball, no strikes on Caminiti. 2-0 now as we look at the swing by Vaughn.
The pitch is down below the knees on the inside part of the plate. I'll tell you, if Greg Vaughn has a happy zone, that's it right there. He loves that ball from the middle of the plate in, down around the knees.
3-0 from David Wells.
Well, we said at times Wells can lose his concentration, lose his focus, and become a thrower rather than a pitcher out there on the mound. He seems to have lost a little bit of his concentration after giving up the home run to Tony Gwynn.
Caminiti pops it foul right side, and that will get out of play. Tony Gwynn before last season had a little meeting with Ted Williams, who said, look, you ought to turn on some pitches, hit some home runs. And Tony Gwynn last year had a career high in home runs. 12-time back-to-back home runs in Major League history. Gwynn last year hit 17 home runs, drove in 119. That's over the inside corner, full count on Caminiti. The reaction of the general manager, Kevin Towers of the Padres.
After 2 towering home runs, no wonder.
Gwynn hit 16 home runs during this regular season, 1 fewer than a year ago. Caminiti pops it up. Shallow left field for Ricky Leday. What started the trouble for the Yankees and David Wells? A little old 2-out, 2-strike hit by Kilvio Veras. And then bang, bang, Gwynn and Vaughn. Back-to-back home runs, 5-2, San Diego. Tony Gwynn first, and then Greg Vaughn followed back-to-back, and a quiet, stunned crowd here at Yankee Stadium as Jorge Posada leads off and takes a strike against Kevin Brown. Posada, Leday, and Knobloch, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for New York. 1 ball, 1 strike on Posada, who walked his first time up. So the Padres have a 5-2 fifth inning lead behind their ace Brown, and a ground ball to the right side. Good play by Ferris to his left. 1 away. That'll bring in Leday and bring in our game summary, brought to you by MCI. Ricky Leday, a 2-run double with a couple out. And his first World Series at bat, bases loaded. Yankees were up 2-0. Greg Vaughn tied it with a 2-out, 2-run home run in the third, and then Tony Gwynn and Greg Vaughn back-to-back with 2 outs. They go deep in the 5th inning, and it's a 5-2 Padre lead as the number 9 hitter Leday, who just told you, who is 1 for 1, digs in and comes up empty. Joe Torre, who told us before the games he is so much more relaxed this time through. Leday's 2 for 2. Compared to 1996, his first time ever a part of World Series play as either a player or a manager. His brother going through the heart transplant, much more relaxed, although right now has to be a little on edge as Leday gets a 1-out hit in the 5th.
Brown got a sinker up over the heart of the plate to Ricky Leday. Shows a good quick bat, spanking that ball into right field. He's turned around 2 Kevin Brown fastballs in this game already. Look for Brown to go after him with some off-speed stuff perhaps next time, or at least keep the ball on the outside corner.
Now Knobloch. 0 for 2 in this game, and just 6 out of 38 this postseason. To the right side and through. Back-to-back hits, Leday and Knobloch, and it's 2 on with 1 out.
Looked like Knobloch went up there and said to himself, I'm going to look outside. And when I get a pitch outside, I'm going the other way. Take advantage of the hole on the right side. That ball scalded the other way by Chuck.
Just past the diving Kilvio Veras, who was playing at double play depth, took away just enough of his range to allow that ball to get through into right field.
And now the tying run digs in for the Yankees. It's Derek Jeter with O'Neill to follow, and Dave Stewart on the phone to the Padre bullpen. 2 on, 1 out, 5th inning. Over the head of Brown. Tough play, Gomez. Good play, Gomez. 2 gone. And it ends up 2nd and 3rd, 2 out with O'Neill coming up as Jeter gets the feel for how it feels on the other side of a good play by a shortstop as we take a look. The super shot replay. Gomez a heck of a play charging.
What Chris Gomez lacks in range, he makes up for with sure hands. 12 errors, the fewest by a National League shortstop.
Now O'Neill. Joey Hamilton, the right-hander, getting ready for San Diego in their bullpen. Ball 1 to O'Neill. O'Neill drove in 116 runs during the regular season.
Look at that check swing. Very close, but Dana DeMute, third base umpire, said he held up in time.
Two and Langston, the left-hander, joins Joey Hamilton in the Padre bullpen as Brown struggles to get through the fifth.
One of the best clutch hitters in the game is Paul O'Neill, and I think Brown's going to make him go out of the strike zone to get ahead, particularly with the count 2-0. Right down the pipe.
2-1.
Sometimes if you're a hitter and first base is open, you can talk yourself into not being able to hit a ball right down the pipe. You think a guy's going to pitch around you.
Right, you tell yourself he's not going to give me anything good to hit with a base open here, and you end up taking a fastball right down the heart of the plate.
Three balls and a strike on Paul O'Neill.
The red zones are the hot zones where O'Neill handles the ball best. Middle of the plate away. That pitch down and in. Most lefties like that one down and in.
So does Greg Vaughn.
David Wells knows that. Off the plate, tough play for Veras, gets a true hop, and the shovel to first as the Yankees threaten, do not score. Back-to-back hits by Leday and Knobloch. The Yankees have left 4, and after 5, San Diego leads it 5-2. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium as we move to the 6th inning. Jim Leyritz first up. Big hook from Wells is low for ball 1. Leyritz, Joyner, and Finley. San Diego out in front 5-2 here in the 6th inning of game 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last inning, a 2-out single by Kilvio Veras. Set up Tony Gwynn. Got the feeling that he was up there looking to pop one out of here. Look at Merv Rettenman, the hitting coach for the San Diego Padres. And then Vaughn followed the 2-run home run by Gwynn with a shot down the left field line that stayed fair and got out by plenty. Vaughn's 2nd home run of this game. And now Wells deals with Leyritz and has him set up at 1-2 leading off the 6th inning.
Tony Gwynn perhaps looking for that inside fastball, but when a pitcher takes a slide step, that means he's more concerned with the runner than he is the hitter. You take about 3 or 4 miles an hour off that fastball, and it makes it much easier to pull.
Leyritz into right field. O'Neill back to get it. 1 down. Hitting instructor Merv Rettenman is wearing a microphone for us, and here's what he said as Gwynn stepped to the plate.
He's going to go up top. Told ya. Told ya.
You heard him say he's going to go up top. In bench lingo, that means he's going to take him deep. Going to hit a home run. And then, of course, the obligatory "I told you so."
Hitting instructors love to say "I told you so," especially when that happens.
The only problem is they say that every time a guy walks to the plate, and they're right about 3% of the time. But when they're right, it sounds good. 1 ball, 1 strike. Leyritz fly to right. He's now 0 for 3 tonight. Sidearm from Wells, and not much of a swing from Joyner. Strike 2.
I have not seen David Wells drop down to any hitter this year. Coming sidearm.
He's been hanging around David Cone too long.
Yeah. Laredo.
2-2 now on Joyner.
You can see the drop down, the arm almost dead sidearm. Throws that breaking ball that starts over the plate, breaks away from Joyner. He's not able to hold up.
One out, base is empty, and Joyner stays alive.
Joyner hasn't really had a comfortable swing against David Wells yet. Normally handles left-handed pitching every bit as well as right-handed pitching, but just doesn't seem to be picking the ball up out of David Wells' hand tonight.
Again, Wells drops down. He misses 3-2.
Fastball the first time, breaking ball that time.
That missed the outside corner, and it's a one-out walk to Joyner. Second walk handed out by Wells. Over the past 70 years, millions have watched the Goodyear blimps hovering over special events ranging from royal weddings to championship contests. Goodyear's fleet of 6 blimps now extend over Europe and South America in celebration of the Tire and Rubber Company's 100th anniversary. We thank them for joining us here tonight. Down below, this crowd in support of the Yankees, stunned to see the Padres out in front 5-2 in the 6th inning. As it's now 10 o'clock straight up in the Eastern time zone. Come on, man. Joe Buck, Bob Brenly, Tim McCarver with you. As Finley bats after the walk to Joyner with San Diego out in front by 3. The home run ball has hurt David Wells and the Yankees so far tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike on Finley.
Everybody in the San Diego area delighted for this man, Tony Gwynn, who put the Padres up with that 2-run shot to right. Everybody in the San Diego area, with perhaps the only exception in the Point Loma area where David Wells is from and still has a lot of friends.
2 balls and a strike on Finley.
I think a lot of National League fans are happy for Tony Gwynn, a guy that's handled himself with such class and dignity throughout his career, getting an opportunity after a 14-year wait to return to the World Series.
That's over the outside corner, 2-2. Tony Gwynn walked out in Monument Park with his son earlier, teaching his son about baseball history, Yankee history. Was anxious, a bit nervous to play in this first game at Yankee Stadium. And tonight, Gwynn is 2 out of 3 with that 2-run home run. The 2-2 pitch to Finley. To the right side, the line drive into the double play. Joyner doubled off as Martinez made the catch, tagged the bag, and we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Williams, Davis, Martinez coming up for New York. Yankee Stadium, Game 1 of the 1998 World Series. Joe Buck, Bob Brenly, Tim McCarver. Bob, we told them at the top, don't tell the Padres that they can't do something. Don't tell them they're going to roll over and play dead for the New York Yankees. They have a 3-run lead here in the 6th inning.
Well, this is the way they've played all season long. The Padres, if you look at the numbers on the stat sheet, they don't knock your eyes out, but somehow they've managed to find ways to win.
Don't knock your eyes out, but they've knocked the lights out of 3 balls tonight. 2 by Greg Vaughn, 1 by Tony Gwynn.
And since we're ready for baseball, we got to knock the lights out up here.
That's right.
Or else they start to glare at us. Bottom of the 6th inning. The cleanup hitter, Bernie Williams, first up. And a ball from Kevin Brown, who got into and out of trouble in the 5th, got into and couldn't get out of trouble in the 2nd. The number 9 hitter, Ricky Leday, got him with a 2-out, 2-run double. Outside corner, 1-1 on Williams, who is 0 for 2. One and 2. Bernie Williams trying to get something started for the Yankees in the 6th inning. Still 1 and 2. Has waited about a year for another chance in the World Series. Chance for redemption under the tutelage of Dave Stewart after last year going 0-2 in the World Series while with the Marlins. The victorious Marlins, by the way, which is hard to remember sometimes with everything that's happened in South Florida in 1998. Hamilton and Langston again getting ready for the Padres out in their bullpen here in the 6th inning.
Kevin Brown's tutor last year was Larry Rothschild, and after the Marlins won the World Championship, Rothschild became the manager of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
A 1-2 to Williams, just slowing away. 2-2. Well, for Brown so far, it's been worth the wait. Leading 5-2 in the 6th inning of game 1. Time granted by Richie Garcia. Outside corner, struck him out. 4th strikeout for Kevin Brown tonight. And to set you up for the rest of tonight's game and the rest of this series, about a scouting report on the Padres.
Well, they feature strong starting pitching, as we've seen tonight, especially in the postseason. The 1.87 ERA. Good situational hitting. The team batted only .240 in the postseason before tonight, but .278 with runners in scoring position. A sure thing closer in Trevor Hoffman. And their veteran hitters seem to be able to make adjustments on the fly depending on what pitchers try to do to them. Great example of that was in the 6th inning of game 6 against the Braves, when they got 6 hits in the inning and 5 of them came to the opposite field, taking what Tom Glavine was giving them and taking advantage of it.
Here's Chili Davis. 1 out, nobody on. Chili's 1 for 2. Chili Davis, one of the best designated hitters in the history of the DH. 38-year-old, Kingston, Jamaica. Second World Series for Chili Davis. The other was back in 1991 while with Minnesota. David Wells tonight making his first World Series start. And trailing 5-2 in the 6th inning as Davis takes ball 2. A close eye being kept on Kevin Brown here in the 6th inning. 2-1.
You could see that ball was up a little bit on Davis, and he fouled it off the other way. He can get around on the low fastball about mid-thigh to the knees or even below the knees, but you bring that ball up just a little bit, and Chili has a tough time handling it. Most good low ball hitters are good off-speed hitters also.
Popped up behind short for Gomez. Called off by Vaughn. 2 up.
That pitch was right on the hands of Chili Davis. That's where most American League pitchers try to pitch Chili. It's really not a secret. This ball right in here, and it crowds him and ties him up. And he pops meekly to short. Put that same pitch and lower it about a foot. Barrel of the bat's on it instead of the trademark.
Now Tino Martinez. Strike from Brown on the breaking ball.
Brown has used very few breaking balls in this game up to this point. He still has that pitch in his back pocket. Should the Yankee hitter start getting on his sinker or his four-seam fastball, he can always go to more breaking balls.
How many pitchers have that luxury where if one plan isn't working, he can go to 3 or 4 other plans to be successful?
It makes it tough as a catcher because you run out of fingers. Guy throws more than 5 pitches, you're in trouble.
Take your shoes off.
Although Carlos Hernandez then would have to paint his toenails, evidently, so that Kevin Brown could pick up the signs. He's already painted the nails on his right hand. That's either to help Kevin Brown or because he's a Marilyn Manson fan. It's my second Marilyn Manson reference of the postseason. Pitch number 100 coming on the night for Kevin Brown. 2 out, nobody on. And a strong 6th inning from Kevin Brown. The Yankees go in order into the 7th, game 1. 5-2 Padres back after a break from your local Fox station. First pitch of the 7th inning is high from David Wells to Carlos Hernandez. There's Bud Selig checking out his first World Series action as full-time, full-fledged commissioner. Seated next to Randy Levine and Chase Carey, COO of Fox Television. 2-0 from David Wells, and the story so far on the part of Wells, not just the 3 home runs, but that the Yankee ace spit up a 2-0 lead back in the 3rd inning on a 2-strike count to Vaughn, an opposite field home run. Then the Yankees went back-to-back in the 5th inning, a 2-run shot by Gwynn, followed by a home run by Vaughn again. And here in the 7th inning, Wells has started Hernandez with a count of 3-0. Ripped foul. David Wells working on the mound here with his Yankees trailing 5-2 in game 1. 3 balls and a strike on Carlos Hernandez. Now full count 3-2. David Wells has already made the public prediction, although he's kind of backtracked since then, saying it was taken out of context, that the Yankees would win this series in 5 games. The Padres kind of blew it off, considering it came from Wells. That prediction not looking too sure right now. Not much margin for Wells, and he has made a few bad pitches, and tonight the Padres have made him pay for him.
He made that comment on the Howard Stern radio show. Might be the first time anybody took things seriously on the Howard Stern radio show. Now they take it out on Boomer.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Wells brings it. Still a full count. Working on the left leg down near the knee of Greg Vaughn. And it is obvious how big a factor Greg Vaughn is for this Padre team. He was in the decisive game 6 of the NLCS, and boy, has he been in game 1 of the World Series. Lloyd and Mendoza getting ready as Hernandez floats one to center for Bernie Williams. Carlos Hernandez is 0 for 3. Tony Gwynn has had one big swing of the bat here tonight before tonight's game. Actually, earlier this afternoon, here's what he had to say about his first game at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, I'll be nervous. There's no question. You know, we talk about being calm. We talk about, you know, focusing and executing. Hey, when Bob Shepard, is that the announcer's name, when he announces my name and I run out on the line for introductions in game 1, man, I'll be shaking. You know, I know that.
Strike to Chris Gomez. Well, if he was nervous, it hasn't shown up, as Gwynn's 2 out of 3 with his first postseason home run, a 2-run shot to put San Diego out in front in the 5th. Base is empty, 1 out, and Gomez, a check swing grounder to Brocious. The bare hand pickup. The throw is true, and the first 2 are gone for the Padres here in the top of the 7th. Tomorrow we'll be right back here for game 2 as Andy Ashby of the Padres will square off against El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. And the rest of the Yankees, it's game 2 of the World Series beginning tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, following our NFL doubleheader right here on Fox.
You know, David Wells is developing somewhat of a pattern here after the 6th inning. Starting right-handed batters with that big breaking ball, trying to get ahead, strike 1. There it is again.
Missing with it for ball 1 here.
Nice job by Brocious smothering that ball with the bare hand. The first thing you have to do is pick it up, and then hopefully you can find a good grip, find some seams, and make that throw across the infield.
Base is empty, 2 down, and ball 2 on Kilvio Veras, who has one of the most important hits of the night. It came with 2 out, nobody on in the 5th. Couple of strikes on Veras. It extended the inning, and then Gwynn went deep, Vaughn went deep, and it's a 5-2 game then. It's a 5-2 game now. Two and one.
Got a chance to hear that infectious laugh of Tony Gwynn after that soundbite. Bruce Bochy saying that has not changed in the 17 years that he's known Tony Gwynn.
Veras into right. O'Neill back near the wall. Little leap and a catch, and the Padres go in order in the top of the 7th. Time to stretch. These Yankee fans will stretch and hope for some runs. Bottom of the 7th inning, bottom of the order coming up. Game 1, it's 5-2 San Diego.
The 1990
Autumn in New York. October baseball. Yankee Stadium, and first pitch swinging is Brocious. Veras takes care of it. 1 up, 1 down for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 7th inning, trailing by 3. So Joe Torre's Yankees 121 total victories, including the postseason in 1998. Watching from the dugout bench as Jorge Posada digs in. 50 come from behind victories for the Yankees, mixed into those 114 during the regular season. Here's Posada. There's ball 1.
You know, one thing you always have to be concerned with if you're playing the Yankees is their ability to put up big numbers in one inning. They scored 5 or more runs in an inning 32 times this year.
Posada rips a base hit into right field. And Jorge's on base for the 2nd time tonight.
And they score multiple runs, not necessarily with the home run ball. They were 3rd in the American League in home runs, but they can 1st and 3rd you to death. We talked about there being adept with 2 strikes, running deep counts. They are a very dangerous ball club. You have to be when you win 121 games and you're in the World Series.
Mentioned last inning that Kevin Brown is working under the watchful eye and the scrutiny of Dave Stewart. The Padres have had action in their bullpen almost throughout this game. Really since the 4th inning on. Here we are in the 7th. A ball to Ricky Leday, and again there's action for San Diego as Donnie Wall gets loose in the Padre bullpen.
Leday's been able to turn on a couple of Kevin Brown fastballs from the middle of the plate in his first 2 at bats. We anticipate he's going to try to keep the ball away, maybe even change speeds.
2-0 from Kevin Brown.
So he missed with the sinking fastball and came back with a slider off the plate. The one thing here is that the Padres need a double play, and Kevin Brown is the best pitcher that they have to induce a double play.
1 on, 1 out, the 2-0 pitch. 3-0 to Leday. Him 2 on, 1 out. Third walk of the night handed out by Kevin Brown, and it will be his final walk of the night and his final pitch. As Bruce Bochy motions to the San Diego bullpen, and Kevin Brown will leave up by 3. But responsible for 2 on with 1 out here in the 7th inning. Donnie Wall will enter. Top of the order coming up for the Yankees, who trail by 3. Brown hands off to the San Diego bullpen. First out of that pen is right-hander Donnie Wall. Saved game 1 of the NLCS against Atlanta. Comes into a 2 on, 1 out situation. And what an opportunity for Chuck Knobloch to endear himself to these Yankee fans. 1 out of 3 tonight. Ball 1.
I think Kevin Brown probably could have pitched to Knobloch and Jeter, but what Bruce Bochy is doing here, this is the 4th time through the lineup, is giving the Yankees a different look in Donnie Wall. Totally different pitcher from Kevin Brown. A lot of breaking balls, a good splitter. Not necessarily, however, a ground ball pitcher, and the Padres need one right here.
Two and 0. Brocious bounced out to start the inning. A hit by Posada, a walk to Leday. Brown is gone, and now Donnie Wall. The 2-0 to Knobloch. Down the left field line. Vaughn in the corner at the wall. Gone! It's a 5-5 game in the 7th. They want a curtain call here at Yankee Stadium. Jeter bounces a base hit up the middle, and the go-ahead run is on for the Yankees in the 7th. They may not get the curtain call as Bruce Bochy makes his way out of the dugout. But Chuck Knobloch, who had controversy swirling around him in Game 2 of the ALCS, with the interference or non-interference play at first, letting the ball roll away after the throw got away from Tino Martinez on the bunt. A curtain call from Knobloch to the fans who rode him after Game 2. Langston comes out of the dugout. All is forgiven, thanks to this swing by Knobloch here in the 7th. It's a 5-5 game.
In the 12th inning, Travis Fryman bunted up the first baseline. Game 2 of the ALCS. Tino Martinez fielded the ball. Travis Fryman ran inside the baseline, and the throw by Martinez hit him in the back. Knobloch standing there. So from the doom and gloom of that Game 2 to the glory of Game 1 in the series.
Knobloch has always been a hitter when he works the count in his favor. He's got good pop to his pull field, which is left. He hit 17 homers during the regular season. Donnie Wall fell behind him 2-0. Knobloch sitting on a fastball and got it.
The reaction from the Yankee dugout bench. His teammates who supported him during that controversial time. A subpar season during the regular year for Knobloch. Slate is just about wiped clean when you head into the World Series, and here he is 2 out of 4 tonight, including the game-tying 3-run home run in the 7th inning. O'Neill pops it up. Long run for Gwynn. That's the 2nd out of the inning, as Langston comes on to get O'Neill and will now deal with Bernie Williams. 2 of the runs are charged to Kevin Brown.
With Paul O'Neill, every at-bat is Armageddon.
He can't believe he missed that breaking ball. From the swing he took, it looked like he was anticipating a breaking ball.
It did.
He got it in a location he felt he could handle and just missed it.
Now Jeter, the go-ahead run at first with 2 out for Bernie Williams, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Was mentioning 2 runs in this inning. Charged to Kevin Brown, 4 on the night. But 1 big one on the record of Donnie Wald, who didn't retire anyone. Allowed 1 run on 2 hits. The home run by Chuck Knobloch has tied this game as you look at the '98 postseason for Mark Langston.
And now the matchup certainly shifts to Bernie Williams, but it also shifts to Derek Jeter and Mark Langston. Jeter with 30 stolen bases on the year. Mark Langston with an excellent pickoff move to first base.
Langston steps off and wants Hernandez to run through the signs again.
He's having a lot of problems seeing the signs from Carlos Hernandez. Even the sign for the throw to first base, Langston had trouble seeing.
Strike over the outside part to Williams, batting right-handed for the first time tonight. Jeter takes off, and he's in scoring position with 2 down.
Great base running by Jeter. He took off the minute the ball went in the dirt. If Hernandez comes up with it cleanly, he's got a shot at him, but Jeter knows through experience catchers don't catch these balls. They block them.
And many times they don't block them when they hit that far out in front of home plate. That pitch was a good 3 or 4 feet in front of home plate. Jeter anticipates the ball in the dirt. When it hits the dirt, he's off and running.
And now a hit could put the Yankees back out in front. They led 2-0 after 2. We're tied 2-2 in the 3rd. Padres went up 5-2 in the 5th. The Yankees have tied it here in the 7th inning, and now the Padres will intentionally walk Bernie Williams. Chili Davis will get his chance with 2 on and 2 out. A look at the Yankees box score. Knobloch, 2 hits, none bigger than the game-tying 3-run homer in the 7th. Bernie Williams now draws the walk. Posada 1 for 2 with a walk, and the number 9 hitter Leday 2 for 2 plus a walk, 2 RBIs and a run scored. A visit from Dave Stewart.
Well, Chili Davis, a switch hitter. It's over 100 points higher against left-handed pitchers, which is where he'll be against Mark Langston right here. In limited playing time, he had 3 home runs this season. All of those came right-handed.
Davis didn't get a lot of left-handed at-bats until real late in the year because of a muscle pull in his side. He had to prove to Joe Torre that he was healthy batting left-handed. So most of his damage was done while batting right-handed, and here he is with 2 on, 2 out. Tie game, 7th inning, game 1. The breaking ball is high from Langston.
We talked about Chili Davis from the left side of the plate. Right-handed pitchers reluctant to throwing breaking balls. That's not true from left-handed pitching. They are more inclined to use the breaking ball to get him out.
Not close. 2-0.
At this point in his career, one problem Mark Langston has, he's basically a 3-pitch pitcher. Fastball, breaking ball, changeup. His changeup and breaking ball are usually just about the same speed, right around 77, 78 miles an hour. So basically, he's a 2-pitch pitcher because the hitter can go to the plate either looking for fastball or one of two off-speed pitches that are exactly the same speed.
Langston came on to retire O'Neill, fell behind Williams, eventually walked him intentionally, and now works to Chili Davis with a count of 2-0. Two and one.
Chili got his fastball, but it was on the outside corner. Notice how Carlos Hernandez sets up late behind the plate. The reason for that, you can see him set up as the pitch is on its way. The reason for that, so the guy at second base, Jeter in this case, doesn't give location to an experienced hitter like Chili Davis.
There's Jeter, the lead runner at second, with Bernie Williams behind him at first. 2 balls and a strike. 2 out. Tie game. Reaching a bit, 2-2. The 2-2. Full count, and the runners will go.
So in the event of a base hit to the outfield here, you can be pretty sure Jeter will be sent. Vaughn with a below-average arm in left. Finley with the best arm for the Padres in center field. Tony Gwynn, although not a strong arm, he's very accurate and charges very hard.
Well, while you look at that, remember these Yankee runners will have a head start on this 3-2 pitch to Chili Davis. 2 on, 2 out here in the 7th. Runners go on ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And now Tino Martinez, another Yankee player who has a chance to erase a lot of bad memories in the postseason at the plate. 96 hit .091 and was replaced in the lineup by Cecil Fielder. Here tonight, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He bats with a bases loaded 2 out in a tie game 7th inning. Ball 1 to Tino Martinez. And a look at what he has done in his career in the month of October in the postseason while with the Yankees. 30 games, he's hitting .184. You compare that production to his regular season average of 32 home runs in a Yankee uniform. 2-0 from Langston.
Kelby Veras, the second baseman for the Padres, way over in the hole. There is a huge gap between Veras and the second base bag. Right there. Huge.
On the corner, 2-1.
Good pitcher's pitch on a 2-0 count. Langston comes with a fastball on the outside corner. Tino Martinez still ahead in the count. He's not going to swing at that pitch.
Jammed, 2-2. Showed you the numbers for Martinez in his postseason career with the Yankees. How about his career with the bases loaded? 6 grand slams and an average of .326.
That last pitch, fastball on the hand, should set up the breaking ball on the outside part.
Just missing to run the count full. 3-2.
Bruce Bochy from the bench wanted this pitch. Very close. Catches plenty of plate. It's just a question of whether it was high enough.
Martinez down the right field line. Grand slam. Brosius flies one to dead center field. Finley on the run back to get it. In the midst of the curtain call by Tino Martinez, Brosius flies to center. A night of redemption here in game one. After Knobloch went deep, the grand slam by Tino Martinez as he breaks through. After 7, 9-5 New York. The two heroes from a 7-run 7th inning.
Doom and gloom to glory again. Remember the 2-2 pitch. Very close. Bruce Bochy wanted that pitch, but Tino Martinez got this pitch.
Derek Jeter with his reaction coming down the third baseline. A 3-2 pitch from Langston. Parked for a grand slam off the bat of Tino Martinez. Knobloch preceded that with a game-tying 3-run shot. And against the San Diego bullpen, the much heralded San Diego bullpen, the Yankees break loose in the 7th inning. Now Tony Gwynn takes a strike. Jeff Nelson, the new pitcher. 5 games in this 1998 postseason. A big ERA. But this bullpen, 3 runs in 22 innings in this postseason. 1 ball, 1 strike. Talked about David Wells and his prediction of winning this series in 5 games. It didn't look good until the bottom of the 7th. And the chant for Tino Martinez is Gwynn fouls it back, strike 2.
And also at the beginning of that last inning, Bob, your comment about 5 or more runs 32 times by the Yankees certainly proved the point.
Not only do they do it swinging the bats, but drawing the walks that we've talked about. They're very patient hitters. 2 regular walks, 1 intentional walk in the 7th inning.
A ball and 2 strikes on Gwynn. And the ground ball base hit through the right side. So the Padres come right back with a leadoff hit. And Gwynn is 3 out of 4 tonight.
Breaking ball from Jeff Nelson. Scorched by the diving Tino Martinez. How odd was that 7th inning? Scott Brosius went 0 for 2 in the inning. Do that every time if your team scores 7 runs.
Better believe it. A good team player. Brosius 0 for 2 in the inning. Somebody has to make the outs. That's what the box score for the 7th inning alone looked like for the Yankees.
Production from the bottom end of this Yankee lineup. The inning started with Brosius grounding out. Posada started it with a base hit. Helped out by the walk to the number 9 hitter Leday as Greg Vaughn digs in. What a night for Vaughn. A 2-run shot in the 3rd. A solo shot in the 5th. 1 ball, 1 strike from Jeff Nelson. By the way, in World Series play, a player has hit 3 home runs in 1 game 3 times. Twice by Babe Ruth once by Reggie Jackson. Broken back, ground ball back to Nelson. They get the lead man Gwynn. A put out 1-4 for the first out here in the top of the 8th.
That expression that players use when a fella breaks his bat is getting in his kitchen. Well, if that's in the kitchen, this was in the pantry. That'd be in the garage. Ball splintering into 3 different parts. That's that tent peg you talk about.
That's the one. That's all that handle's good for now. It's a tent peg.
1 on, 1 out for Caminetti. 0 for 3 tonight with a pair of strikeouts and a pop-up. Strike from Nelson. Jeff Nelson had to get himself healthy with a bulging disc in his back. Such a vital part to this Yankee bullpen. Pitched over the final month of the season and proved to Joe Torre that he was ready. Here he is pitching in Game 1 of the World Series. 1 ball, 1 strike on Caminetti.
And you can see why Nelson is so valuable to Joe Torre. That drop down sidearm frisbee slider, very tough for a right-hander to hang in there against that pitch.
2-1 on Caminetti.
The one problem that has not enamored Jeff to the likes of Joe Torre or Mel Stottlemyre is that he falls in love with that breaking ball and doesn't throw his fastball enough. Saw the damage he could do to a bat with Greg Vaughn up there. That's another breaking ball on the 2-1 count.
And that pitch is not as effective to a left-handed hitter. That ball is coming right into him. Nelson's trying to nip the outside corner with it, but very little margin for error with this pitch. If this strays over the heart of the plate, it's a good pitch for a left-handed hitter to pull into right field.
Now a visit from Posada. With 1 on, 1 out, and a 3-ball, 1-strike count on Caminetti. Folks, watch for the Gillette Mach 3 Strike Zone Challenge prior to Game 4 of this 1998 World Series, where you'll see one lucky fan get the chance to throw a pitch for $2 million. Gillette will donate $1 million to the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation. In addition to the $1 million, Gillette will pay the Strike Zone Challenge winner. And the strike zone is a challenge against Caminetti for Nelson as he misses with ball 4. A leadoff hit, the force out, now a walk. And here come the Padres in the top of the 8th.
Well, if there's one Padre hitter that should be familiar with Nelson and that sidearm slider, it would be Jim Leyritz. Played with the Yankees. Saw a lot of those sidearm sliders. He's very familiar with the way Jeff Nelson likes to work, especially to right-handed hitters.
It's a 4-run Yankee lead with 2 on, 1 out for the Padres in the top of the 8th. Leyritz takes a strike. Jim tonight 0 for 3. Grounded out, struck out, flied out. Vaughn the runner at second. Caminetti at first. Strike 2. Tim told you about the home run in Game 4 of the '96 World Series earlier for Leyritz. Before that, '95 Division Series off Tim Belcher. Game 2, the game-winning home run in the extra innings. '98 Division Series, a game-tying home run. In Game 2, Game 3, the game-winning home run. He homered in the NLCS as well, but here he strikes out for the second out of the 8th. And with Wally Joyner coming up, Joe Torre may go to Graham Lloyd.
You get a look at this slider. 2-strike pitch to Jim Leyritz. See that dot on the ball as it comes up to home plate? That started on the inside corner, ended up on the outside corner.
Here comes Graham Lloyd. Trotting into this action. 8th inning. His Yankees leading by 4. Well, what happens when you try to manage from the bullpen? Maybe a little embarrassment. Graham Lloyd was coming in as we went to break. Looked up and realized that Joe Torre had made the call for Mariano Rivera. And Graham Lloyd was sent back to the bullpen.
Go back, go back. Well, you can't fault him for being anxious to get into the ball game.
Figured you got two left-handers coming up. I'm probably in the game.
So Lloyd's first appearance of the '98 World Series doesn't even count. And here's Mariano Rivera. Unscored upon in the 1998 postseason. 3 saves to his credit. 2 on, 2 out. Wally Joyner. Ball 1.
And there is not a short reliever in the National League quite like Mariano Rivera. So these Padres are seeing a guy that they have not seen the likes of so far this year. That explosive fastball almost effortlessly.
Down and in, 2-0 on Joyner. From Rivera, who saved 36 in 54 appearances during the regular season.
And that was a new look even for American League hitters. Mariano Rivera on a 1-0 count throws a hard slider down and in, a pitch he's been working on very hard this year.
Outside corner, 2-1.
There's that explosive high fastball you mentioned. The motion is really what sells the fastball. The fastball is 93, 94 miles an hour. But it comes out of that deceptively smooth motion.
Joyner fought it off. The count 2-2.
Smooth motion and thin frame. Mariano only weighs about 170 pounds, but you'd never know it with that fastball.
The 2-2 to Joyner. You know, I thought Joyner broke his bat on the previous pitch. And Joyner either found out it was broken on that last 2-2 pitch or did break it on this delivery inside from Rivera.
Sometimes you do have hairline fractures from the trademark to the handle, and you can't really pick them up because of all the pine tar. The crack gets involved with the pine tar gets in the crack. You can't really tell whether it's broken or not.
Again, the 2-2 pitch to Joyner. Full count, and the runners will go. Seen just a little bit of everything in Game 1 of the 1998 World Series. Runners go as Joyner stays up there.
Two teams that have been struggling offensively throughout the postseason coming into this World Series. Two aces on the mound. You figure it to be a low-scoring ball game, and both teams break out offensively tonight.
Gino Martinez and Chuck Knobloch individually breaking out. 2 on, 2 out, 3-2 to Joyner.
You can almost see with every foul ball the other way, the outfielders, Ricky Leday in left going toward the line a step or two. Same with Bernie Williams. Bernie Williams started off this at bat a shade to right center. I think the only way Wally Joyner is going to pull the ball is if Rivera gets one in that down and in spot. Keeps it around the hands, probably be hit to left.
Runners go. Joyner fouls another. Two years ago, was almost a 2-closer setup for Joe Torre as he had Mariano Rivera. The 7th and 8th. John Wetland for the 9th. Runners go as Joyner grounds to Knobloch. He kicks it. Gets past him, and a run will score. Most likely an error to make it a 3-run game and bring the tying run to the plate.
Glove on the ground. Ball comes up, hits the heel of the glove, pops behind Knobloch, and that's important because going behind him allows Greg Vaughn to score. So far tonight, Chuck has given the Yankees a 3-run homer, and now he's taking one away.
Well, took just a little bit of a bad hop there at the end.
A ball now to Finley, the tying run at the plate. So Knobloch's plus minus right now is 2, +2. It's an error. It's no RBI for Joyner. Now the tying run at the plate here in the 8th inning. Finley to Martinez. The other hero of the bottom of the 7th inning closes the top of the 8th. Rivera did his job. It's a 3-run Yankee lead. Well, whenever the Goodyear blimp is hovering above with its camera focused on the event, you know you're going to get a unique view. Tonight, it's the Spirit of Akron. You can find out more about Goodyear blimps on the internet at Goodyear.com. What a game down below in game 1. Yankees the early lead. Padres tied it. Seemingly had a commanding lead with Kevin Brown on the mound. When Kevin Brown left, the Padre bullpen took over. The Yankees made their comeback, 7 runs in the 7th inning, and now the 3rd man out of the bullpen for Bruce Bochy, former Yankee Brian Boehringer.
Pitching in his 4th postseason game. You see what he's done up to this point. The Padres are going to be in trouble if their left-handed relievers out of that bullpen do not show more effectiveness than they've shown throughout the postseason so far. The Yankees have some strong left-handed bats in the middle of that order, and Randy Myers and Mark Langston are going to be important parts of this World Series, but not if they continue to pitch the way they have recently.
Randy Myers didn't look all that good in the NLCS. Didn't appear in the division series, and Langston. Strike 2 on Posada. In his 15-year major league career, got his first taste of postseason duty back in San Diego in the NLCS against Atlanta. Ends up giving up the grand slam to Tino Martinez, so ineffective against left-handed batters, and the Yankees feature a lot of them. O'Neill, Williams a switch hitter, Tino Martinez among others. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's Posada, Leday, and Knobloch. Look at Donnie Wall, who initially relieved Kevin Brown. Gave up the 3-run home run to Chuck Knobloch. 1998 postseason for the Yankees. First 8 games, 27 runs. The last 2, including the clincher against Cleveland, 18 runs, including 9 tonight. Posada's gone, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Join the game, Bruce Willis, Denzel Washington. Stars of the upcoming action thriller The Siege, opening nationwide on November 6th. What a game they have seen, and we have seen here. Game 1 of the 1998 World Series. Here's Leday. Leday fouls it back here as he tries to reach base for the 4th time tonight. 2-run double in the 2nd, a 1-out single in the 5th, a walk and a run scored in that 7-run 7th. One ball, 1 strike.
I think what Ricky Leday has done tonight is earned a start in tomorrow night's game against Andy Ashby. Not the game the young Ricky Leday has played this evening.
Well, that left field spot is wide open for the Yankees, and you would have to believe Joe Torre will stick with a hot hand, which tonight you see 2 of the candidates sitting next to each other, Tim Raines and Chad Curtis. Tonight it's Leday. 2-2 from Boehringer.
And tomorrow night it will be Leday too, against the right-handed throwing Ashby.
Still 2-2 on 24-year-old rookie from Puerto Rico. And there is the 29-year-old, wink wink, right-hander El Duque. The 2-2 hammered into the upper deck foul. What did he turn on that? Just hit it behind him.
Hit it in the hot dog stand. That's what you do with a pitch inside off the plate. You're already committed. You're going to swing at it anyway. At least get the head of the bat on it so you don't break it.
Into left field. Vaughn is there. Can't make the catch. And Leday will hold it first with one out here in the bottom of the 8th. Leday is on base for the 4th time tonight. And we're waiting to see if it's his 3rd hit or Vaughn's first error.
The way I saw it, it should be an error on Greg Vaughn. We talked about the problems that Greg would have in left field. It is so spacious out there. The ball hit the little finger of the glove as he goes to both knees. That ball should be caught.
Still waiting for an official ruling on the play. As Chuck Knobloch, who gets a nice hand, digs in. It is an error. E7 on Greg Vaughn. So one on each side. Knobloch, the man at the plate, has the Yankees error, which led to a run.
Good combination here for Joe Torre if he would elect to play a little hit and run. Leday runs very well at first base. Knobloch handles the bat very well at the plate. 3-run lead is not all that comfortable.
The end of tonight's game 1. Bob, Tim, and I will select the Chevy Truck Player of the Game, and there are plenty of candidates. 1 on, 1 out for Knobloch.
Now that hit and run becomes a more viable option since Knobloch is ahead in the count and the pitch out is remote.
Good check on Leday. The other left-hander in the bullpen for San Diego, Randy Myers, cranks it up. Chuck Knobloch at the plate here in the 8th inning. In the 7th, this to tie the game off Donnie Wall. That made it 5-5. Later, a grand slam from Tino Martinez made it 9-5. 2-0 on Knobloch.
This is a count Knobloch homered on in his last at bat. We mentioned normally sprays the ball to all fields, but when he works the count in his favor, many times he'll guess fastball and look to pull.
Knobloch drilled. And it's 2 on with 1 out.
Fastball up and in, just continues to run inside to Knobloch. He turns away the proper way. Lessen the effect of this hit by pitch. He just takes it off the back of the left arm. Catcher's the one that gets hurt on that all the time.
That's true. That's right.
Of course, you're not going to get any argument from the guy to your right. Dave Stewart, he's been busy, either pacing in that dugout or on the phone to the bullpen or visiting the mound, and he's out there to talk to Bullringer, the former Yankee, who worked in the '96 World Series against Atlanta.
With Knobloch's stance, you know, he invites himself to get hit because he stands so close to the plate. He was hit 18 times this year. He doesn't give a lot. But see him hanging over the plate like that. When you hang over the plate like that, you're inviting somebody to throw that fastball in on the hands, and Chuck ends up getting hit on the left elbow, but appears to be all right.
He's got that big guard on the left elbow. strictly for that reason, because he does hang over the plate. He's not afraid to take the hit by pitch, and more often than not, he uses that guard to deflect it.
Now 2 on, 1 out for Jeter. Strike 1. There it is, 18 times this season, most in the American League, and that guard on that front elbow, the left elbow. A lot of pitchers believe that should be outlawed. At least a guard that big, which at times can hang in the strike zone.
You brought that up this summer, Joe, and I think that's a very valid point that should be taken up by the Rules Committee. Whether to allow that to happen, because that not only gives you an extra piece of equipment, but it increases the area in which you could be hit.
A lot of hitters use that as a piece of offensive equipment.
Absolutely. Sure.
Craig Biggio does it well in the National League. Biggio, another who gets hit by quite a few pitches. Now Bowringer will get a visit from Hernandez. The point that we brought up earlier in the summer was if a batter's pocket hanging out of his uniform has to be put back in the uniform because it's considered part of the uniform, and if hit would give the batter first base, how can they allow a guard that big on top of the arm to hang down into the zone as Jeter takes low? 1 ball, 1 strike. Derek Jeter tonight. 1 out of 4 with a single and a run scored. Leday at second and Knobloch at first with 1 out. Two and 1.
Bruce Bochy probably still thinking about that 2-2 pitch that was very close to Tino Martinez before the home run.
Three and 1 from Bowringer to Jeter.
Another good combination for the hit and run. Jeter, a man at the plate that handles the bat very well, has a great knowledge of the strike zone. He can inside out an inside pitch. He can guide an outside pitch to the opposite field, and great speed on the bases.
Not going as Jeter takes ball 4, and the bases are loaded with only 1 out. And O'Neill coming up. O'Neill's looking into that Padre dugout, expecting to see Bruce Bochy, and he'll get his wish. And he'll get the left-hander Randy Myers here in the 8th inning. So Bochy makes the walk out to get the ball from Brian Bowringer, and the left-hander Randy Myers will come in from beyond the outfield wall to take over. Bases loaded, 1 out. Paul O'Neill will be the hitter. The Yankees already leading by 3. Yankee Stadium, we're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Yankees are batting with the bases loaded, 1 out. Randy Myers just got to the mound. That long, slow chug out of the bullpen. So we have a moment to give audio credits to those who helped bring you tonight's Game 1, and we'll bring you the action throughout this 1998 World Series. The producer is John J. Filippelli, the director Bill Webb. Segment producers are Carol Langley and Lance Garrett. The pregame producer is Gary Lang. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports, David Hill and Ed Gorin. Special thanks to Kathy Hunt, Scott Ackerson, Michael Weissman, Jim Lynch, Dave Hill, Craig Marlowe, and Mitch Riggin. And up here in the booth, game after game, we owe our thanks to Steve Horn. Bases loaded with 1 out. And here's Randy Myers to take on Paul O'Neill. The number's not good. Big ERA in 4 games in this postseason.
One problem with the 2 left-handers in the San Diego bullpen is they don't have a tailing fastball to come in on left-handed batters. Everything goes away. The slider from Randy Myers, the 4-seam fastball, the same with Mark Langston. Whereas the Yankees have 2 pitchers, Graham Lloyd and Mike Stanton, both who can bite you inside. See that pitch right there? Randy Myers makes his living now on the outside corner to left-handed batters. And when a left-handed batter knows you can't come inside, he dives across the plate like O'Neill did just then.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Yankees leading 9-6 here in the 8th inning of game 1. Same pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The only way to hit this pitch is to look to go to the opposite field. As you mentioned, everything away and moving away from the left-handed hitter, Paul O'Neill.
Strike 2 on O'Neill. A couple of former Cincinnati Reds. We made mention of it during the NLCS. Hard to believe a guy who was once known as one of the nasty boys has become a slider changeup artist with an occasional fastball. He's 1 and 2 on Paul O'Neill. Nothing straight to O'Neill yet. Struck him out for the 2nd out of the inning. The bases are loaded with 2 down as O'Neill couldn't catch up to the breaking ball.
If you've seen one, you've seen them all. Slider. 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 1 ball and 2 strikes. Slider. So Randy Myers with 4 straight sliders to get O'Neill.
Against the right-hand hitting Bernie Williams, he's more likely to use that slider on the outside corner, try to backdoor the right-handed hitter and use more splits against the right-handed hitting Bernie Williams.
Bases loaded, 2 down. There it is. Backdoor slider for strike 1. Today, Knobloch and Jeter, the runners for the Yankees. Myers trying to keep the Padres in the game. They trail by 3 here in the 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike. In case you're wondering, the Yankees, who already have a grand slam from Tino Martinez, if they get one from Bernie Williams here, would become the first team in World Series play to hit 2 grand slams in a game. Bases loaded with 2 out. One ball, 1 strike. Outside corner, strike 2, and that a 90-mile-per-hour fastball from Randy Myers. By the way, in the top of this 8th inning, Mariano Rivera came in a save situation with a tying run in the on-deck circle. And Rivera will go back to work right now. What a job by Randy Myers. Keeps his team in the game. Back-to-back strikeouts. We go to the 9th. Yankees lead 9-6. 9th inning of game number 1. Look at Andy Pettit, who is slated to start game 4 for the Yankees.
And Andy has asked us to send regards to his dad, who went through double bypass surgery. Yesterday, Andy was down there with his father. He's in a hospital in Houston, Texas. And Andy sends his love to Tommy Pettit, his father, who obviously is watching the game. It's only 10:30 Texas time. And happy with the results tonight, even though the Padre fans are not.
Here's Greg Myers off the bench. 1 for 1 in this postseason. It was a pinch hit 2-run homer. The outside part, 1 ball, 1 strike from Rivera, pitching for the Yankees, trying to save it for David Wells. We'll go to 4-0 this postseason. San Diego fails to rally here in the 9th inning. 2-1 on Myers. two-run home run in game number 5 of the NLCS. 2-2 now. Sweeney and Vanderwall left on the bench for the Padres. Vanderwall is already in the on-deck circle with Arias, Rivera, and Sheets from the right side for Bruce Bochy. The 2-2 to Myers, 1 away. Now Vanderwall. Really had a strong NLCS against the Atlanta Braves. A big reason why they have advanced to the World Series. 1 out, nobody on. 4-1.
Well, that is vintage Mariano Rivera right there. You will never catch up to that ball right here, the fastball right around the letters. Got to make him get the ball down, and that is an enticing pitch at which to swing.
Strike 2 on Vanderwall. Still 1-2.
You mentioned Vanderwall had the big NLCS. Very rarely does he get an opportunity to have more than one at bat in a ball game. A pinch hitter deluxe in his days with the Colorado Rockies, and pretty much filled the same role for the Padres throughout most of the summer, but got some starts in left field due to the injury to Greg Vaughn and really took advantage.
Myers struck out, a ball and 2 strikes on Vanderwall. Broken bat foul down the left side. Vanderwall needs a new bat, and that is not rare. With Rivera on the mound, you got a quick shot of the number 39 on the back of the cap of Mariano Rivera. Also on the cap of Jim Leyritz, the Padres, but every Yankee has number 39 on the back of his cap to honor Darryl Strawberry. And great to hear that Darryl Strawberry is out of the hospital, at home watching, very much in the thoughts of this 1998 New York team. The 1-2, 2 out. The 2 out, nobody on. We send a get well soon card to Darryl Strawberry. 24 home runs. Most for Darryl since 1991. And he did it in 101 games with limited at bats. Two out with the bases empty, and Rivera trying to wrap up game 1. Strike 1.
You could see Barris after he fouled that ball up off, saying that ball was up. He had his left hand saying, make the ball be down. You tell yourself that, but it is a very difficult pitch to lay off of.
Strike 2, and Rivera could strike out the side here in the 9th inning. The pop-up third baseman Brocious. Game 1 to the Yankees. Our Chevy Trucks players of the game: Tino Martinez with a grand slam, Chuck Knobloch with a game-tying 3-run home run in a 7-run 7th inning for the victorious Yankees. Padres trailed early, tied it in the 3rd, took a 3-run lead in the middle innings, and then the Yankees broke loose in the 7th inning. That off the bat of Chuck Knobloch to tie it, out of the hand of Donnie Wall, tonight's losing pitcher. We talked about redemption for Knobloch. A little redemption on the grand slam hit by Tino Martinez later as he broke through. And right now, let's go down to Chip Carey standing by with our Chevy Trucks players of the game.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. You're right. The story of tonight's ball game is indeed redemption. First of all, with Chuck Knobloch, talk about the game-tying 3-run homer. With all that happened to you in the ALCS game, too, you have to feel like the weight of New York has been lifted from your shoulders.
Yeah, it was definitely a big hit for our team. And, you know, I got ahead in the count 2-0, and I was looking for a good pitch to, you know, try to get the head of the bat on. And I wasn't trying to hit a home run. I was just trying to hit something solid. And I got some air under it, and fortunate for us, it went out. It was great.
You handled yourself so well in talking about the ALCS situation. You do have to feel some sense of redemption, don't you?
Well, no, not really. I mean, this game, you know, there's going to be days that are up and days that are down. And if you can try to stay consistent, you know, face the facts, whatever you do, answer the questions, and just try to be a stand-up guy, then, you know, that's all you can do. And that's, I mean, redemption, I don't think so. It's just a great feeling. You know, we won the ALCS, got here to this point, and, you know, what a great night tonight was.
Well, Chuck, thanks a lot. Go get him in Game 2 tomorrow against the San Diego Padres. Our other hero tonight is, of course, Tino Martinez. It's been a long slump for you in the postseason, and you broke out in the biggest way possible.
Yeah, I just been trying to tell myself, you know, take it day by day. And the good part is we've been winning, moving forward in the playoffs, and that was the important thing. I knew one day I'd eventually get a big hit to break loose and help the team win.
Talk about the hit. Talk about the big home run. What did you get, and how did it feel?
Well, I got a fastball kind of up and in, and, you know, I was looking, he had to throw a strike there in that situation with the game tied, and I just put a good swing on it. I was nice and relaxed, had a good swing on it, and it went out.
I know the Padre fans in San Diego are saying, hey, you should have been struck out on the 2-2 pitch. What was it?
Well, I thought it was down. You know, I was looking for the ball up in the zone, and, you know, I saw it was fastball the whole way right over the middle of the plate, but I thought it was down.
Well, you and your Yankees, I know, are trying to play this World Series for Darryl Strawberry. He's watching the ball game tonight. Any message for him?
Yeah, Strawman's been telling me, Tino, relax, stop pressing. So, Straw, keep getting better, man. We're going to see what we do it.
All right, Tino, congratulations. Great job. Go get him in Game 2. The Yankees win Game 1, Joe Buck, very convincingly. Let's go back to you upstairs.
All right, Chip. Well, Chuck Knobloch might not want to talk about redemption, but we will. It makes for better TV, and what the heck? It's true. Knobloch broke through, as did Martinez in the 7th.
7 in the 7th for the Yankees, and the odd thing about that inning, normally if you get a 3-run home run from somebody, you stop scoring. You certainly don't come back with a grand slam. Very, very unusual inning.
This game has a way of allowing you opportunities to redeem yourself. Very few guys are able to take advantage. Knobloch and Martinez did it tonight.
Folks, Fox Sports coverage of the 1998 World Series continues with Game 2 tomorrow night at 7:30. It will be Orlando El Duque Hernandez taking on Andy Ashby. David Wells has won his 6th consecutive postseason start. All Kevin Brown could do was shake his head. A couple of big home runs hit by the Padres, actually 3 on the night. But no bigger swing tonight than Knobloch to tie it. Tino Martinez to put the Yankees out in front for good. And Game 1 goes the way of the New York Yankees. A 9-6 final. For Chip Carey and Steve Lyons, for Bob Brenly and Tim McCarver, I'm Joe Buck. Good night from Game 1.